Hi everyone, how are you? Here's the screen that you hate, but it's the screen that I've got to see it, make sure that my microphone is working and all of that stuff. And so then I've learned from your feedback to me that you hate it. You hate it, so I'm going to back out of it. Make sure I'm recording, the microphone's on. We're going to go here. All right. I have to talk about this before I have a freaking stroke. My God, this freaking roach. Stop giving this roach a freaking platform. I stepped back because the two ass clowns that I was covering, I don't do for money. You all know that I do what I do for awareness and for the truth to get there. If I receive money for the work that I put in, the tireless hours that I put in before I do a video and the research that I do, I feel that I earn it. And then I show in turn where that money goes. I have never hidden that. But I wanted to be sure that I was not being a part of where certain people were taking what I said, literally waiting till the next day when the transcript was written of what I said, and then going and taking what I said and my work and where I go, and then doing that for super chats, y'all. Gotta cover them little chitlin for Christmas and all that of my work, and then coming at me and saying, well, you babble too much. Yeah, because it freaking interfered with you reading what I said from my transcripts. So when I do my content, I do it because I believe that I have a base in knowledge and what I say and why I say it and my personal experience that I bring to the table to show this. No, I am not a psychologist. No, I'm not a lawyer. No, I'm not a nurse. No, I'm not any of those things because my body wouldn't cooperate. Deathly allergic to latex. So when I had my job in oncology and I was in nursing school and had my 3 little boys, it was on top of the world. Had a great job in the nursing program. Our house was beautiful. Had a beautiful view, by the way. I miss views. Now I live out in Flatbutt, Minnesota. I miss my mountains and trees. But I kept going to work and it wasn't really making sense because, you see, my latex allergy was so severe that it was going to angioedema and like internal body symptoms. So it had been for where I went through the whole thing where just wearing gloves would make my hands bleed. And, I had to have my special gloves and everything, and they still bled a lot. Because we weren't all aware of all the internal things that are latex that are in a hospital. Back then there was balloons, there was all these other things were still made of latex. So I'd be fine, I'd go to work, and then within a half an hour, we get done with report and stuff, and my charge nurse would be looking at me like, what is up with you? Go down to the ER. And I was ending up in the ER. They'd call my cardiologist over from across the street. They'd be like, what is going on? They're putting me on digoxin and everything else, which was been making it worse. And then I came in and I almost had to be cardioverted, and they were like, my God. And they figured it out. And I'm so allergic to latex that, if it's in the air, I react. And it was going to angioedema and it was shutting down my my throat. I was literally, each day was worse and worse. So I had to quit. In 1996, everything was still latex. So that was a big, hard thing to get over because all I ever wanted to be was a nurse. I didn't know anything else. So I had to drop out of my nursing program, quit my amazing job, and it was just kind of the beginning to a lot of the health problems that I have, and not ever knowing that so much was related to my allergies. But things like I had an IUD placed after my 3rd child, and well, IUDs are nickel, and I also have a severe nickel allergy. So that was a horrible surgery to get that removed and caused all kinds of other things. So my body and my allergies between latex and nickel has just been this kind of thing where I should have been born in a bubble. When I went to allergists, they're always like, yeah, you can't be allergic to all those things. Let's do a couple of tests on you, and then you see them come in and they pull the prednisone out of their pocket that they have to keep for rescue. And they're like, my God, you should have been in a bubble. I would have been one of those bubble kids. So there's that's based in, why I look at some of these things that people give a platform to Michelle and just shake my head and be like, well, why do you guys believe this? And then it's like, that part in me, and I would get better and I'd get back into school, and then my body just wouldn't cooperate. And as you all know, I've had a heart attack and I have congestive heart failure and the neuropathy that's taken most of my small fiber nerves. So I should not be able to walk. How I walk is a mystery to any physical therapist. I've learned to compensate with the other nerves, and I'm prescribed to use a 4-wheel walker because I'm not even like that good with a 2-wheel walker, but I figure it out and I walk on my own. Sometimes it doesn't work and you'll see me with a walker or you'll see me with a cane or whatever, but most of the time I don't. So I had gotten so good and was doing so well, and then started law school, and that's when I moved down to Vegas. And something about the heat aggravates that allergy that I have inside, and gives rise to the kidney stones and acute kidney failure and internal organ symptoms. So ultimately, I kept taking classes because while I was sick in bed and raising, which now is my 6 kids, I always, my brain wasn't sick like my body is. And so I level up, if I were to put a resume in front of you, as I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I got halfway through my master's program in forensic psychology. I started law school and I was halfway through my RN program. And when I was well enough, I got into retail management, just working in retail right before the pandemic hit, as my kids needed so much for their proms and everything else. It worked for me to work to get a little discount. So I have enough where when I do talk, it's because I draw from those experiences. I don't have somebody feeding me my knowledge and saying, okay, read this, for this and that, and then I'll share the money. Fuck that. Okay. That doesn't happen here. And you all know, and you've seen that I fight on my own. I fight my own battles. I don't have all of these people. I don't have a Discord. I don't have all of these things asking other people to fight my battles. As y'all have seen, I stand alone. I fight my own battles. And that means that I do what I do, and I don't want anybody defending me. You all know that my email address is tabithajane0@gmail.com. Should you have any questions that you'd like to take one-on-one with me, I'm always open to that. There's never anything. So with that being said, I have had so many requests to look into what Shitstorm is doing lately, and I'm appalled. I'm appalled that anybody's giving this beast a platform. What we see here, from my non-expert opinion, is we see the narcissist is backed into its corner. Okay? As y'all know, no matter my education, everything boils back down to that episode on Gilligan's Island that I love to refer to. Do you remember in Gilligan's Island when there was that big spider? And, it's hilarious looking back at the way the 70s did that big spider. But they had this big-ass spider that wouldn't come out of the cave. And so Gilligan and Skipper and the professor and Marianne are all running around trying to figure out how to get rid of this spider. And it's backed itself into a corner. It's in this cave. So they wheel this mirror out to it. And it sees its mirror and it's like, ah! And then they see that the mirror they think that the spider thinks is like a male spider. They're luring it out to get out of the cave. Well, that's Michelle, okay? Because she is your classic narcissist. And when she's in trouble, and she is in trouble right now. She's in trouble. She's backed into a corner. And poor little baby Michelle might just get a little dose of what the rest of us get. And that's justice, okay? So now that she's up against a wall and she's backed herself into her little cave, if the mirror is being reflected at her, she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't have anywhere to go. Lord knows she would mate with herself because she's so madly in love with herself. I mean, I'm not even freaking kidding you. When I am going through these and I am listening to this shit, I tell you, I cannot believe this. She threatened, okay, her ass threatened that in 6 weeks, She is going to be doing a bikini live and talking about how hot her body is because she can do it. Because now that she's given a platform and she does this by the tears and I've had a stroke and read what the doctor just said about me. Read it. Read what it said. Read what it said. Yeah, you asshole. I mean, read what it said about me and what I've had. Yeah, right there. Read that line, read that line. You're an asshole. And I'm wonderful. And Molly herself said I'm a gold digger. Yeah, Molly straight up said I'm a gold digger. Didn't you hear Molly say I'm a gold digger? So that means that if you have me on your channel, then it's gold because I am a gold digger. Didn't you hear Molly say it? Molly said I'm a gold digger. Didn't you hear Molly say it? Molly said it. Yeah, whatever. Right now, she's getting all the attention. And so people give her that need for attention. She's as addicted to the attention as she is the drugs and the alcohol and the men and the money and the rush that she gets from somebody paying to get her. So anyway, she has threatened the internet to go live in a bikini in 6 weeks. And I was planning on keeping my freaking eyeballs for at least 8 more weeks. And if I have to give up these eyeballs that I have in my head in 6 weeks, I'm going to be pissed because these are my good eyeballs. If I have to see her in a bikini, because I posted that one where the bikini, she's got a very long crotch area, a very long, like, how do I say this? Lip to hip ratio. Oh God. It's just a very long crotch. And so like the bikinis, I don't know if she's like stitching 2 of them together to make for the long, or maybe it's a high-rise bikini. I don't freaking know. But the bikini picture that I found was some gem that I found when she was on MySpace. And she had just gotten on the MySpace because she'd gotten dumped by yet another husband. And so she was on the MySpace saying that she'd been watching the Discovery Channel and she's a Sunday school teacher and just trying to make some friends, and puts herself up as in a bikini. Because that's how people who just get dumped by a husband for their lies and are watching the Discovery Channel and are preschool teachers decide to make friends. Yeah. So anyway, I had posted it on my community post where all good things are there to find. I don't know how far it goes back, but you can pretty much find out anything you'd ever want to know about anything in the world from my community posts. And I looked and it seems as if it was pulled for nudity or something because they don't understand that, no, that's just this huge crotch that's there. Because most people just think it's a bikini or something. It's a long crotch, okay? Anyway, she thinks her body's very good. So when the reflection goes on to her, she goes between, the narcissist of she is so madly in love with herself, but she hates herself. She loves herself, but she hates herself. She hates herself right now because she doesn't have anybody buying her bullshit. Okay? And the second that she thinks she's got somebody buying her bullshit, she's fine. I think it was Eric Erickson who said in his theory of psychology that oh my God, or is it? And basically, he said that the premise of a child developing depends on having one person. If one person in the world can love that one child unconditionally, that one child will succeed. And Michelle is trapped, it seems, in something in her childhood where if she could get one person to believe her, just one, and she goes back for that, and she goes back for that, and now she's got the whole internet, which gives her this whole access to the world. Even though YouTube itself has said, get off our platform, to the effect that they blocked her ISP. People will still feel sorry for her and give her a link, give her a platform, have her use their channel because she wants that. She's addicted to attention. She's addicted to addiction at this point. Okay? So if she can find one sucker, just one sucker, and they say that a sucker is born every day. If she can find one motherfucking sucker, she's done. That's all she needs right now. And she referred to somebody as mom the other day. And so we have both theories out there. Is she back to fooling her mom? Because I believe the story goes that her mom and sister have seen through her crap. Her mom and sister worked hard to help raise her babies and fought for them not to be into the system. because they knew that she was doing her horrible things. And so whenever she'd get there, she'd get in trouble, and her mom and sister would help. That's the way that I believe the story has been told, and I do apologize to the mom and sister if that is incorrect. But we moms are suckers, and when our babies come to us, no matter what they've done, we mamas have our mama heart, and we want to save our babies. And so if her mom has been drawn back into this, I can only imagine that she's done what she's doing to the coworker. She said that, she's got some chocolate man at the Walmart that she's wielding a box cutter at, because she's a box cutter extraordinaire. It's the best job. It's the best paying job at Walmart. And in fact, when she's there for 1 year, she can transfer anywhere, including Hawaii. So, she's going to get that Hawaiian transfer, right? They're going to move her and move everything because she's the most important box cutter that has ever been a box cutter ever. But she did say that she wants to use said box cutter against said person that she has a restraining order with, which, I'm conflicted because that I better shut my fucking mouth. Anyway, she was saying that she almost slipped with the box cutter and slid open her wrist and would have needed stitches. And I'm like, okay, Sam, you might want to listen to what you're employing now because, Sam, you got a problem with your employee. And I thought that they did drug checks. I thought upon hire. And so I don't know if they let you start working and then they send it out to the lab. Now, I don't want anybody jumping into me. No, she's sober right now. She's sober. Didn't you hear? No, she's not fucking sober. No, she's not sober. Okay. In fact, when she was trying her best to recite any one of the steps, she knows about the apology steps. So then she'll be at this and she'll be like, it said in my steps that I have to apologize. So I'm apologizing at you. Accept my apologize. If you don't accept my apology, then it's your problem because I'm on that step right now. Okay. And in the same step, she said that she's taking, in the same vein, she said that she's taking her Xanax and she's taking her sleeping pill. Now, my friends, it has been well known for a very long time that those drugs are not indeed being prescribed by any medical professional. Sure, she's going to shake a prescription bottle. I can do the same here. Okay, so she has an old ass prescription bottle. Okay, so when she gets those drugs, I don't know if the traffic cone is still in business or not, but where she used to procure her drugs from, she's smart enough to know that she has to have her drugs in a bottle with that same thing. So if she gets whoever she's got right now, who's giving her the drugs, she'll put those drugs in the prescription bottle for that. That's fine. That's not fine, but this is what she does so that she can always say, see, I have my sleeping pills and they're for sleeping. I have to have them. Yeah, they're probably Ambien and they're not doing her any favors. Xanax, yeah, she's probably getting them from the street because there's a lot of people right now who have anxiety disorders and are dying from cancer and et cetera, that cannot get a Xanax because of assholes like Michelle. Because they're trying to stop the supply from the top, just like opioids. So there are people that are suffering. There is human suffering going on because of assholes like this. Okay? So sure, she can put it in a bottle and watch her walk into an AA meeting and say that shit. Watch her walk into an AA meeting and say, I'm sober and my Xanax and my sleeping pills help me to be sober, because there is not a sober person on this planet who's going to say that that's sober. That is not sober. If she's being busted for alcohol, she'll say that she's not drinking alcohol and she'll watch and back off the alcohol and she'll push more of the drugs. If it's a drug she's being looked at, she'll back off the drugs and take more alcohol. I'm just drinking. They're not those. Watch her switch it up. This isn't a gold mine. This is a gold digger. And she has dug enough gold to frickin' get our country out of the mess that it's in. Do not support her. Do not believe her. And if it is not mom, that is the mom that biologically birthed this spawn, it is somebody else that she's got that's enabling her right now that she's calling mom. It seems to me that the way that she's talking is that she has met up with definitely an attorney. And I would imagine that attorney was paid for by a sugar daddy or mom or somebody stepping in to be mom. Remember, we've had problems with Lisa C and whatnot. And with each person that she gets, that one person who gives her that unconditional love at that time that she wants, she takes what that person says and then goes on to it for her next battles. I believe it was Lisa C. who gave her that idea that she's a protected person. And so that, in fact, she was twisting it and saying that nobody can say anything bad about her on the internet because she's a protected person in a protected class. In fact, that's how she said she was going to be able to sue YouTube and Google, its parent company, because they were letting her, who's in a protected class, be bullied. So she should have her platform and nobody can say anything against her because she's in this and that. Oh yeah, right, bullshit. So the other night, she and I don't have any problems with the channels that are cutting and putting the pieces up. Call it as I See What You Can't is my absolute all-time hero in all of this, as they have went and cut up what she says, puts in seamless clips, and never once asks for anything in return for the hard work that they have done. And I will always shout out that channel. I probably will show some of that in this channel. And they are, I truly believe, the unsung hero in all of this, is they've never asked for anything. I have a problem with flip-floppers who want to put her back on, because then, yeah, that is how she is doing her gold digging, gold mining bullshit. That, yeah, she's a moneymaker. You put her up on your thing, oh yeah, you're going to get the views and everything, because everybody loves to watch a train wreck. But is this train wreck worth watching? Think about that when you are supporting it. When you are watching a channel that's up there and putting her up, just to clown her and stuff, and people that were her friends and aren't her friends and stuff like that, and you're supporting that, think about who you're supporting. And think about how that matters and the big effect of that. So what's going to come at me this week is that I have said, and I do stand by what I said, that I do not personally believe that Michelle has had a stroke. As you all know, I worked in a hospital in neuro rehab and oncology, so I've seen many people with a stroke. I have seen many people that have had what seems like a stroke, and what she's referring to as an ischemic stroke. Now, if she had a stroke, it's because of the damage that she's putting in her body. So it's not like, oh, poor little Michelle was just going. Like my son, who had a stroke in utero and has subsequent cerebral palsy. I have very much sympathy for anybody who's had a stroke, because I know how my child struggles to get through every day. And I am more than thankful that God gave me that child and gave me the opportunity to devote my life to optimizing his potential. So in that, and as much as we have spent in going to the best hospitals and the best physical therapists to mitigate the damage so that his potential is optimized, when I see assholes like Michelle exploit a stroke in the way that she has, it infuriates me. And I have said over and again that I do not believe that she had a stroke when she said that she had a stroke. Now, looking at this bit in the timeline, her first stroke was when Etienne left her. Etienne had seen all of her deception and could no longer take her abuse and manipulation, no matter if she was physically abusing him, threatening to call his command, threatening to have him arrested again for abuse, threatening to take everything in her gold digger ways that only she can do. He left. He took what he could and he left. And he left her. And that was huge for him, because she was accusing him of being an abuser, and he had to get through that in his head. That he did not abuse her. Through her manipulations, through all of that, she said that she would humiliate them to his friends, his family, his reputation. She loves character assassination. It's what she's all about. Because it takes the focus off of her. Don't you ever take the focus off of her and what she's doing. Because she called up Etienne. I'm had a stroke. I almost died. I can't even wipe my own ass. I can't roll in bed. I can't do this. I can't do that. Are you just going to leave me? You're going to leave your wife who had a stroke? Everybody's going to know that you did this and you left me? You would leave your wife? You said in sickness and health. You left your wife, had a stroke. I can't move, Etienne, I can't move. And she pulled at his heartstrings, saying that she had a stroke. Etienne came back to help. And that's when the dogs came in and all the bullshit and all that, oh yeah, she spent $10,000 on these dogs, getting these dogs to help her have a stroke. Those dogs are not trained to help anybody with a stroke. We know this, and we know the trainer and everything else. We know none of that is legit. None of it was true. None of it is true. It was a manipulation. And we just saw the manipulation because when she was just on a panel that, I see what you can't put up. And I believe it was with, I'm sorry if I have this wrong. Let's see. Who did she, oh God, she's done so much. Was it when she was just on with Paloma and, I'm sorry, I can't remember. But anyway, they were reading off what she wanted to be read. Okay. And what they did was, so Michelle is frequenting the emergency room right now. Okay. She's what we in the profession would have called a frequent flyer that comes in, wants their fix, whether it's attention, drugs, or any of the like. Because right now she knows she's in trouble, so she's got to use illness. When she fakes an illness, it has won for her. She got ETN back by faking an illness previously. She got all that she's ever done by faking an illness. When she's in trouble and the court is looking at her and she's looking at facing jail time, she fakes illness so the judge will feel sorry for her, so that her spouse will feel sorry for her, so that the men that she has on the hook will feel sorry for her, so that her mother will feel sorry for her. She does this. It's a cycle. Don't fall for it. So what was being read, she must have sent, her emergency discharge thing, right? So basically, in the discharge thing, it's the history, and that's an oral history given by the patient. So when you're in the emergency room, you're supposed to be there for one thing that is urgently compromising whether or not you are going to live. The emergency room is not for chronic conditions. It is for acute conditions in which your life may be compromised. So they're in there just to gather information, to get the best answer, to look at things quickly. So they ask the patient for their history. So if you look at how it's read off, it's what she says she had. Okay. And now she got this discharge paperwork that has everything by patient report, which the stroke is listed. And so that's why she wanted that to be named off, because she got somebody to write it in there. So now people will be like, no, see, it says she had a stroke because the hospital papers were there and said she had a stroke. No, she said she had a stroke. When I put this out here about 6 months ago, whatever, and said, I do not see, from my personal experience and knowing what I have about people who've had a stroke and my son and working in the field and whatnot. And I haven't worked in the field for a long time. So, there could be some Magic Michelle strokes that are different, but Magic Michelle strokes can go away because she can work manual labor for how long, when she was saying that she worked her manual labor for how long that she was yielding a box cutter for, what'd she say, she was, how many hours is she saying she's doing that with a box cutter, with she's doing manual labor, and cutting up boxes, because there's certain big high up positions in the Walmart for her to be doing this manual labor, and she is cutting up boxes and making a U in the boxes that she cuts, and working harder than any person's ever worked in any manual labor thing and ever, and she is the hardest worker in the hardest working profession ever, and never has anybody worked harder than her doing manual labor. She's doing the work of a 25-year-old. Did you hear it all? So she's saying all that. How could she work so hard doing all of this manual labor? How could she do all this manual labor and be on her feet? And what she's saying, that she works harder than a 25-year-old, and she's still saying that she went up on roofs, and she's still saying she can still travel, and she can still do all this, but she's had a stroke, right? The stroke comes in rather conveniently, doesn't it? Whenever she's in trouble, She's got to use the stroke because the stroke worked. The stroke got Etienne to come back. So when I've asked for bona fide proof of that stroke and the damage that it did, because you can see the damage when the stroke causes an area in the brain to essentially not have oxygen. So it's a little area in the brain that's essentially dead. It's brain damage. I know that she's talked about those tests and whatnot. So I'm sure she goes in there and has the symptoms of a stroke. That's what happens when you abuse drugs. That's why people don't abuse drugs. That's why people should never mix drugs like she does. But she does. Every time. I am surprised that she wakes up each morning. As I've spoken, my 29-year-old sister didn't survive her addiction. And she had very little in her system. She was 29. She had a lot more going than Michelle. And you know what? Yeah. About 3 months before she passed, we had the news that she had a stroke too. That's what happens from drug abuse. So can she have one? Yeah, but it's self-induced. It's not that, oh, poor Michelle, and she should get all this sympathy that people who actually have had strokes don't even get because they don't want, because they are trying to put themselves back together. So don't fall for this right now. She's in trouble. She knows that the court is looking at her. She knows that she's facing possible jail time. Possible jail time means she's really not going to get those, just her at-home drugs, just her sleeping drugs. Because remember when she was in the hospital and they kicked her out? Remember when the vascular surgeon came in and did not say that she had an actual history of a stroke? But he did say that things are going wrong because of what she's doing and that the circulation is not right in her body because of the drugs that she's abusing, and that they found, in fact, that the drugs that they were giving her were not the same drugs that were in her system, nor the amounts. So they were kicking her out. And people say, oh no, but she had discharge papers. Oh yeah, she had discharge papers, because you better believe that before they kicked her out, because she did have the possibility of losing one of those toes, you better believe that they had their legal team look at everything and be sure that they were discharging her under these conditions. Because what she did was she brought in her own pills, because she has to have her at-home meds. The hospital meds are different than the at-home meds, and the sleeping pills are the sleeping pills. No, it's Ambien, it's benzos, it's Xanax, it's benzos, it's opioids, it's alcohol, and you mix them and you don't wake up. And I'm so surprised that she wakes up every day. And by God, if she is a gold mine, well, to who? To TRICARE? Has she made TRICARE a lot of money? Because us military folk who worked hard to never cost TRICARE any money get pretty disgusted when we see how she exploits TRICARE. And you know, when she was prescribed Chantix, that Chantix there would never be prescribed to anybody who's had a stroke. So then she put in there in that thing that she was having read, read what the hospital wrote. Yeah. Well, you're an asshole. Oh, yeah, this is about me. You had to keep me on here. I'm not going to grant this interview. Who the fuck does she think she is? She's not going to grant this interview? What? Are you freaking kidding me? You're not going to grant this interview? Who are you? And yes, this is the picture that I love to post, because when she's saying she's a movie star or whatever, I guess that her stalker or whatever put that she was in some movie with the character Nigel that played a drug addict. I mean, art imitating life. You know how that goes. So she may have been in that. And apparently she wrote the IMDb. Celebrate the Chaos. It was this thing, and it was about people who follow around rock stars. So they have this here, and she's looking like the Wicked Witch of the Wild West. I mean, look at this. Okay, this does not look like the witch. I mean, put a bike on her. Put Toto right there, and then look at this. My precious. My precious. Look at her right there. Now look at the people who are turning around because they're going, what the fuck, what the fuck? She's going to fall. She's going to fall. No, people. She usually just walks on ETN at home. She wants people to see, the whole world to see how she's walked all over ETN. Because right here, this kind of shit doesn't go along with any security or anybody. No, no. You are detracting from the actual performers. You're being dangerous. This is not crowd surfing. This is Michelle being an asshole as usual. Okay? Up here looking like the freaking Wicked Witch of the West. Okay? Look at this. All of her toes and stuff. And this is probably after the one stroke, right? So people are knowing that she's going to fall or he's going to fall. She is putting him in a great danger because he is being lifted up. If anything happens and he falls at a height of almost his height and straight down to the cement. You think that this venue wants this kind of liability? No. This is her trying to detract from the show and her saying that, oh yeah, I'm in movies. I'm a stunt double. No, you're not anything. You're a drug addict and you need to be put away for a long time before you hurt or kill anybody. She has hurt how many people emotionally? Ran girls. Oh yeah, that's something to brag about. Heidi Fleiss of NOLA. Oh my God, Heidi Fleiss had freaking morals. You have none. You just freaking ran girls because they wouldn't pay for yours. And that is nothing to brag about at the exploitation of others. That is nothing to brag about. That's disgusting. Michelle's a pimp. How wonderful. How wonderful that she human trafficked. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that something to brag about? Gold digger. Oh, gold mine. Whatever it is, she isn't shit. And stop giving her this. So these are videos in my channel. Okay. So I have, what do I have over here? I've done 474 videos. And I think, what are 47 of them her still? Let's see here. What do we got? Okay. So anyway, when I put out there that Michelle had not actually had a stroke, she said, even Trey said I had a stroke. Even Trey said it. Well, okay, why is Trey being brought up anywhere here? Isn't that the man that she was saying that she was going to get for $600 a month? When she was naming off how she was going to support herself, that's how Trey got brought up. People are like, Trey, why are you bringing up Trey, you weirdo? Isn't that the husband of the friend acquaintance that she had that lost her life? Why is she bringing up Trey? She said, oh, Trey can even say I've had a stroke. That was the big answer that I've gotten. I still have not seen anywhere that she's had a stroke. And if she's getting ongoing medical care for this, then what are her special accommodations at Walmart? Because if she's doing all this manual labor, what is she getting out of it? I don't see that those are honoring accommodations for ongoing medical conditions. I don't see it. I don't think that running around being on your feet for 40 plus hours, her bragging that she's done more work than anybody who's ever done work and is going to get a transfer through the Walmart, is honoring somebody who has these ongoing medical conditions. No, ongoing medical conditions do not have you going behind the wheel after you have taken a substance or alcohol. She is not learning, folks. She's not learning because everybody gives her a freaking pass. And then she's bringing up my girl Penelope, which no. Do not bring up Penelope. She's bringing up Penelope for doing this and ruining her life. Penelope was the first person who put this out there, put the truth out. And she's on this, you don't know how I started. You don't know how I started. Oh, okay, let's go through the whole stupid thing. Okay, so Molly was looking at the thing about Dre, okay? And with the Dre McVeigh, well, let's see. The Dre McVeigh situation is a little bit complicated because there's Dre McVeigh, who was actually at the top of her game in an MLM, which I cannot mention Paparazzi, paparazzi. Anyway, paparazzi has been indicated in having an extraordinary amount of nickel and lead, which certain people like me are very, very allergic to. And certain people are so sensitive to nickel and lead that they can have a seizure. And so if you look at it and you look at the big picture, and I don't even know that Dre McVeigh has seen this because so much of a shitstorm has been made of her life, but I've done videos on Dre too. But what I've said here, Dre had a little situation where her dog, one of her chickens, her mother, one of her children, and her new husband, all not seemingly blood related to her, but I don't know about the chicken, were having seizures. Now, if you look at the amount of paparazzi that she had in the house, because she was on top of her game, she was one of the top earners for that MLM. People who had large quantities of that stock on hand started having problems. Well, her new husband had more problems than most. And he also, and I do believe that it has been confirmed that he is deceased, but who knows, because there's so much that's not true in that world. She did not want him getting treatment from the VA because she did not feel that the treatment from the VA was adequate. She did not believe that he should be treated with Western medicine, and stated that she was indeed his doctor, and in fact went down to Mexico and smuggled drugs in her pussy, fupa, and started soaking him in all of these herbs and everything and these things. And he continued to have seizures, and the seizures were causing him brain damage. No secret. I mean, he was not doing well. Plus, he had PTSD. Plus, he was having emotional problems. Plus, he was dealing with his crazy wife and everything else. They were moving and the stress and everything else. And he was begging to leave her. And she wouldn't let it happen. And if you listen to some of those videos, they are heartbreaking because he's begging her for some money just to be able to go to a motel and get away from her. And she's saying no. He would sit there and have seizure after seizure, and she would be sitting there filming him saying, you put cayenne pepper in a person's mouth who's having a seizure. So he's sitting there seizing, and she's putting her freaking fingers in his mouth, putting cayenne in his mouth. Those were the bigger issues. But anyway, Molly and what's his fucking face, we're talking about this, okay? Because you see, Vaughn went out and may or may not have tried to end his life with a piece of rope, okay? Yes, does the word rope give you all a freaking flashback? Oh. Idiot here had been trying to make her social media breakthrough. Started seeing Molly as her gateway. Get it? Molly goes live, MGL. Michelle goes live and talk about a stalker. Oh, anyway. Molly would do her lives as she always did. Michelle started trying to hijack these lives. Anything they said about Vaughn and his possible medical thing or the rope, Michelle would hyper-focus in. She'd call up on the live line to talk. And she would take over the whole conversation. And then people were saying that Molly was being mean to her, but Molly was establishing boundaries to Michelle. Nobody, I don't care who you are, tries to enforce a boundary to Michelle. Don't you ever do it. Don't do it. Because you know what's going to happen? She's going to put the focus on you. Anybody who has said no to her, isn't that how Trey got brought up? Because he said, I can't give you this money this month because, I'm good for this, but I can't because I'm having these issues because my contract didn't get renewed. Some odd shit. I don't know. I've seen people trashing this man. Why is this man being brought up? Because he gave money to Michelle once and he said, I'm not going to give it again, and gave excuses, and excuses like anybody has to, because she's going to hound and hound and hound and hound like a freaking collection agency. That's her new career. My God, could you imagine her trying to collect a debt? Okay, playlists. Let's get over here. Playlists. So anyway, hold on. Hold on, please. I got 474 videos, blah, 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 blah. I've got Michelle playlist over here.
Do you really have to sacrifice safety to have such a lush lawn?
How many do I have in there? So that's not going to show me what I needed to. Oh, God. Let's see. I think I try to keep my weirdos at 10%, but I think that how many did I get here? Sorry, it should say the number. I think I got, is it 28 or 42? I can't remember the number that I have in my playlists. It should say the number, and I don't see where it's saying it. But anyway, this is where my playlists are. So while I've not been online lately, I've got all of these other playlists. So there's lots of other stuff to listen to, should you want. 48. Okay, I've done 474 videos, so I'm doing 48. This will be 49. Yeah, I mean, some of my weirdos have came up to almost 15%, so I've had to back down. But these videos are all here. Now, what Michelle would do when her history was being read off, when I'm sorry, I can't remember who was narrating, said ongoing medical issues from alcohol abuse. Michelle starts talking over. No, go back to what they're talking about. The stroke. See, I've had a stroke. So then when I'm tired, my voice slurs because the stroke. Bullshit. You get put in jail. You're going to go through full withdrawals from your benzos, from your opioids, from your alcohol. So she fears actually getting sentenced where she's going to go into jail. And whether it's 3 days or 10 days, she's going to have to dry out. They are not going to play into her little, I need my sleeping pills. I need my at-home pills like she gets in the hospital. And now she's saying she's going away for 10 days. She's going on some other little vacation or whatever. She's not going to rehab. She's not going to the hospital. Stop caring if she's going into the hospital or anything, and start caring that she stops what she's in. And the only reason that's going to ever happen is if we stop getting one person somewhere to give her what she wants, because she's been doing this since childhood. The way the story goes is that she would get in trouble. And she would push, and her mom put boundaries on her. And so she went to grandpa, and I believe it's the mom's father. And he had started his own electric company, I believe is the way that it went. And he had money. So then whenever little Shelly would do the naughty, then she'd go to grandpa and he'd give her the money to get out of whatever she was in. And whatever she was in, she would get out of by getting a man to pay. Doesn't it sound familiar as to how she's continued her life? And then whenever somebody's asking her a question, she starts going in and just saying word association that doesn't make sense. She's like, Scarborough, look up Scarborough, look up Trimble, look up Como, yeah, look it up, Trimble, blah. And people are like, what? And they're, yep, yep. What does any of that have to do with anything? She starts using all of these names and whatnot. And when I shouldn't say poor, whoever, because I used to like this person, but this poor person was trying to get off the phone with her the other day. And this is when she just started breaking down, and because she was doing anything to get this person to stay on the phone with her because she is lonely. But this is not the way to get attention and whatnot. You know what? If she comes back from this, she would be a great comeback. Wouldn't she be a great comeback story? And she could be the one who's helping other people with addictions and whatnot. But God, we'd have to prove she's sober. And she started talking about how Penelope, she's the one who ruined my life because I was on Molly, and I was on Molly, and I was hijacking her lives, and Molly saw how I am. Molly said I'm a gold digger. No, what happened was Michelle would start calling in and taking over those phone conversations. And people started seeing, because Molly had a lot of haters in her thing, and people were waiting for Molly to give them a reason to hate her. So Michelle kept, I'm a rope expert. Yep, I can tell if that rope was frayed, then that means this. Who the hell knows what the hell she was talking about and how that related to anything? Because she's coming on this, that she's an insurance adjuster who's a domestic violence victim who's very upset because she had a tragic loss of her baby with SIDS. So people, not knowing the whole situation, thought that she had just lost a baby to SIDS and her husband left her while she was having a stroke, and she's an insurance adjuster. She's doing everything she can to stay on her feet, and so she got that sympathy. Okay? Well, Penelope Jane, the hero to us all, comes... Penelope Jane. Did you see what I just did? I put my idol and me in one. Well, wouldn't Penelope Jane be the hell of a duo? Penelope, I'm calling you. Hello? It's me. I'm Penelope's stalker, as y'all know. Penelope had to get offline because Penelope has an actual stalker and said that her online presence could not be because of her online stalker and how hard she'd worked to not have that person know her life, and because people were believing Michelle and supporting Michelle and all of that nonsense, they doxed Penelope. And Penelope had to leave. So Penelope was out there giving the truth so that people would not give in to Michelle. Penelope said all we ever needed to know about 2 years ago, and none of this would have happened if people would have listened to Penelope and not supported the nonsense that followed her out. So Penelope brought this truth. And now Michelle is bitching because Penelope just read ETN's side. No, we saw that you were getting lawyers to quit. You couldn't keep a lawyer for 10 days. Leave ETN out of it. The divorce is over. You weren't married to the man for very long. You certainly as hell were not a good wife ever. Leave the man alone. Leave this man alone. So then she was talking last night on whatever panel she's trying to get everybody to listen to this and listen to that and detract from this. She's like, well, and then the film about this being on there. No, this wasn't from Penelope where this came up. This was on Michelle's frickin' actual Facebook before anybody knew. I nabbed it from actual Facebook and I saw it on Penelope's. So it was you, Michelle, you that put this video out here because you thought it was so funny. And I'm telling you that right now, I'm jacked fuck up because I thought that this was just cement of some kind. And now for me to hear you running your frickin' mouth, that's lime what you were putting on this poor man? You asshole. That's what was burning his skin. She's saying, oh yeah, we were just homeowners and we just had this wonderful family and no. So then, when Michelle had limits put on her by Molly, because Molly, whatever she was or wasn't, could call out a scamming idiot, okay? But she could also see where there was a gold digger. I mean, gold mine, whatever Michelle wants to say that she is, whatever, right? So Molly saw how many people went away to go and defend Michelle. She saw the fools, and she said, you know what? Yeah, she's a potential gold mine. A lot of people will make a lot of money off of her. Yeah, but so what? Michelle makes the most money. And what does Michelle do with that money? She snorts it, she sniffs it, she drinks it, she fucks it. Okay, so leave it alone. Stop giving her money. Stop giving her attention. Stop giving her the platform. Focus on her victims. Save the victims. ETN did nothing wrong other than fall for somebody, fall for her act. He fell for her act. That's it. And when he saw the truth and saw that she was lying about the stroke and saw that she was lying about everything, and when she shot at him. Oh, that hole in the wall that's so funny and everything. Yeah, it's just because she tried to kill him. Is that funny? Is that what? No. Okay, let's start using word association here. Let's start talking about this. Because I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to say something here. Let me see here. Let me get to my notes. Here. Scarborough. What does Scarborough have to do with anything? Scarborough corner, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. Sabate, Sibate. And the real estate agent even said I was fine. Yeah, the real estate agent said I was hot. The real estate agent said you tried to hump him. Okay, so let me see. What did I see here? Oh, yes, this caught my eye. This caught my eye that there are charges of disturbing the peace, of simple criminal damage to property, of disturbing the peace, second count, not guilty and not guilty on those other ones. You guys are all like, yeah. Well, you want to know what? Yeah. These two things happened on 1/23/2017 and on 1/26/2017. There's a history here of her. So when she's acting like, oh, I'm just a llama and I just spit at things and I have to go to the Dollar Tree, Scarborough, Trimble, Trey, no, she has a history of spitting on cops. That's disgusting. Okay. So yeah, she was found not guilty on simple criminal damage to property. Remember when she shot at ETN? What if this was a woman? What if this was a woman and a woman had a man putting lime all over his body because they were doing work and they were both drinking, but she was really, really drunk and taking pills and fucked up to the moon? What if a man put lime on a woman and sat there and laughed, huh? What about that? Okay, this is what Michelle Lola Montez Sabate put on her own Facebook. This has not anything to do with Penelope. This was on her own freaking Facebook. She does everything herself. You just have to go and freaking watch it and not get interrupted by Scarborough, Trey. Okay, preface. It started pouring down, raining, and I see 2 bags by my garden. Her garden? Oh, God. I think it's lime for the grass. I was like, SHIT, help me get this on the deck and run downstairs. I get 1 bag to the edge and it busts us. Go for the other bag, now completely soaking wet, and it busted too. It was the cement for the installation for the sump pump. Little emoji of putting hands up and laughing. And I thought it was so funny that the deck and myself were covered in cement. I had ran my hands through his hair. I had 3 Bud Lights in me. It was just funny as SHIT. Number 2, not saying that number 2 is SHIT. His ring is back on his finger, and he's cooking me French's toastesses. Number 3, we will deal with the deck tomorrow. Y'all, I still can't breathe. The dust was all over his face. Yeah. So you were just up on panel last night saying, no, I loved ETN like I love the air. I can't breathe without ETN. Frickin' leave the man alone. Your divorce was a long time ago. What about the other frickin' how many 7 to 10 men that you've frickin' married? Where are they? That's not normal. Leave the men alone. Leave the men alone. Okay? Stop spitting on cops. Do not get behind the wheel, period. Whether or not you have taken a pill or that, because, if you're so damaged from a stroke that you can't do anything, you slur your words, well, you sure as fuck shouldn't be on the road with anybody. And she's doing the lawyer talk, right? She's doing the lawyer talk. You can tell somebody just paid for a lawyer. And she sat down with the lawyer. And the lawyer said to her, because now she repeats it because she doesn't have the ability to process a thought. It just goes in the ear and out the mouth. She said, well, yes, I've made mistakes. I got behind the wheel, but I wasn't even drunk. I was a 0.6. And to me, I'm an accomplished lifelong alcoholic. That is nothing to me. Can't anybody function like that? Other people can't, but to me, that's nothing. That's not even real drunk. And I went to the Dollar Tree and I was spitting on the cops. But you know what? I haven't hurt anybody. Okay, that's the good thing. I'm sorry. Because she then remembers that the attorney has told her to show contrition. The attorney has told her that, you know what? Hey, we've got this. The good thing is you didn't hurt anybody. You didn't blow high enough that, was technically drunk. The spit didn't actually get on the officer. What we need here is for you to show that you are a good and productive citizen. It would be great if you could get a job anywhere, walk in. I don't care if it's, McDonald's, Burger King, Walmart, get in there, get a job, show the judge that you are back on track, that you are working hard, and that you're going to AA. I want you to start going to meetings. I want you to go to 3 meetings a day. I want you to show the judge that this is what you got, and this is where you're going, and show the judge that, yes, you see you made a mistake, and you're going forward, and it's not going to be a problem, and then the judge will understand, see you as you are, and it'll be great. And she's eating it all up. So what she do, she got the job at Walmart, but she has to act like, this job at the Walmart's the best job that anybody's ever had. She's going to get a promotion and transfer to Hawaii. And, she's the hardest working person ever, despite her stroke, despite all this. Right. Wrong. Okay. So anywho, this doesn't have anything to do about Penelope. It doesn't have anything to do about Trey. It doesn't have anything to do about E.T. It has to do with Michelle. You're high, Michelle. Okay? And it's whatever she gets in trouble, she gets a man to pay her way out of it. And if she can't find a man, she'll use a woman, and she'll call that woman mom, and she'll tell that woman that she's better than her mom, and that her mom never listened to her, but this lady is everything she's ever wanted in a mom. And mom, you love me so much, and with you, mom, I'm going to be able to do this. And mom, I promise I'm doing right. And mom, I promise I'm doing good. And can you just give me a little bit more money to float me? I don't have food in my house. Bullshit! It goes on and on and on, and it's cyclic and it's sick, and don't let her off the hook this time. What's it going to take? What is it going to take? The reason she gets away with this is because she's up in this little podunk area of Georgia where it's a bunch of backwoods people who don't know how to do their job, okay? They don't even have anybody for the MAD chapter in that area because Mothers Against Drug Driving, I sat there and grappled with it. Do I go and traumatize them all to see that their work isn't doing any good by seeing that an asshole like Michelle is going around? And yeah, there's these stories, of this newlywed couple who was just killed on their way home from coming whatever and whatnot. And all of these tragic stories of these beautiful families that are killed by some drunk driver. And that in Hamilton, Georgia, they just don't care. They'll pull her over. She'll spit on them. She'll kick on them. She'll piss on them. And they'll look the other way. Been going on for how many years now? And the next day, she'll be out again, and she'll do it again, and she'll go to the taco trucks and get her drinks. At taco trucks? I was just at the taco trucks getting my margaritas and driving home. What, can't anybody have a couple of drinks? How does anybody do it? Does anybody go to a restaurant and order alcohol? Yeah, they have Ubers, or they have the other person. Or you know what? When me and my husband go out, I did not take one drink of alcohol until my kids were over 18. So then when, the youngest are 18, I think, I'm going to try and drink a little bit with dinner. And dinner took a very long time to get there. And so we were waiting and waiting. I was thinking I was cool and everything. And so then my dumbass comes home, and my youngest are 18, and I get out of the family van and I take 2 steps out and I vomit all over the driveway. And my kids are like, "You're so gross." I'm like, "I know, but I'm just trying to see why people do drink." And, of course, my husband doesn't drink even a drop. We've never even had beer in the, we had a recipe once that would call for beer. We had to go and find a neighbor and be like, do you have beer? We're not that person. We don't have beer or wine or anything. So I think I had maybe 3 vodka with cranberry juice. And so the poor kids had to hose off the driveway. It smells like vodka. And they will never touch alcohol by seeing their stupid mother do that. And it's like, and they know I don't drink it all. So, they were just grossed out, and the smell of it and everything. They're just like, "Oh, I'll never drink alcohol." That's how you teach your kids, right? But that's the thing, is that I never drank. And most people don't. Or if they do, they have a designated driver. I've been a designated driver for my friends for forever. So then there's this thing here going into the court, DUI, possession of a controlled substance. 6/12/01, and then we get into possession of a controlled substance, fine of $20,000, probation of 3 months, charges dismissed. 12/11/00, and then we get into this August 26, 2015 charges. Offense code 540471. I don't know what that is, and it's an offense description, and it's in Harris County, Texas. Now, this is the problem, is that Michelle uses a combination of different last names, and that's why she pops up and stuff, because I don't know, she can't even remember who she is half the time, and it's not from a stroke, it's from her alcoholism making her brain into it affects Swiss cheese. So there's somebody with a very similar name who's in the DOC in Florida. So sometimes when you are looking at a criminal record of Michelle, and this person with a very similar arrest record, has her name. And I think that that's sometimes what happens when she goes to court, because they'll pull it up and then, whoever's, no, that's the other person there in the DOC. And I think she gets away with it because some are hers, some aren't. And so she's admitted to a lot, but she twists and turns it. So you have to take those details and look at it. And because this one in 2015 is definitely in Harris County, Texas, Michelle Robin Scarborough. The DUI court costs were $467. But, she's learned her lesson, right? Was that 2015? Let's see here. And then, is anybody keeping count? Because I'm not. And then we go over here to February 26, 2016 in Houston. Is this Houston, the same Houston? She's talking about Houston? Because if she's been to Houston and whatnot, there was a guilty plea and convicted in January 25th, 2016 with a deferred adjudication of guilt. I can't talk today. And I know they've sent some words in here that are messed up. I can't talk. So anyway, she was booked to 26-16 and 15 days in the Houston County Jail, and that was a .15 BAC. And then we go over here to 12/10/2000. Possession of a controlled substance, and that's in Dallas, Texas, and that's guilty. So then anyway, when she was on Molly's panel, this is how she started. You have to know how she started. And she started on there because she got people to feel sorry for her because she talked about this baby with SIDS. And she'd be like, did they have petechiae? Did they have petechiae in their eyes because my baby did? Or didn't? I don't even know. Petechiae are punctate little bruises in the eyeball from when there is oxygen deprivation. Now, that can be from traumatic injury, or there's a lot of things, and it can also be in the eyelids and stuff. My daughter, when she came out of surgery, she was in so much pain because assholes like Michelle have caused it so that you don't get proper medication when you come out of surgery. So there's, again, human suffering because of people like her, and my daughter was crying so hard, and her little eyes, she had petechiae all over her eyelids, and Mama Bear here went apeshit and got the administrator of the hospital and got my daughter very comfortable. Because I'm Mama Bear, and I shouldn't have to fight like that. I should not have to fight like that for the suffering. But that's our new world, because they're trying to stop it because they can't stop fools like Michelle, because there are fools like you that give her money. Stop giving her money. Stop giving her a platform. Okay? All right? So people were thinking, oh my God, it's a woman who's tried of SIDS. And I'm telling you, and you all know who you are. You came to my emails. You were triggered by what you heard. You felt sorry for her. And then when you saw that she was lying, because she then in turn told people that came over and felt sorry for her, and because they felt that Molly was being big, mean Molly and wasn't being sympathetic to the fact of SIDS. You told people to go and F themselves on your child's grave and described in explicit detail as to where your child's grave was. And then anybody who brings up your child, they feel sorry for you because they only heard that one part, but they didn't hear you telling people to go fuck themselves on your child's grave. And then you play on it, and you watch people fight, and you watch people divide, and you watch people fight and divide, just as they did when you were little, and they were telling Grandpa not to defend you, and you watched your family divide. And you didn't care, you watched it, because then you were getting all of the Michelle attention, and Michelle attention is what Michelle wants. And however Michelle gets it, and Michelle goes home and she's lonely, so what does she have? She has social media. And even social media said, you are dangerous to the platform, get the fuck off. So you go to every platform that you can get. And if people continue to watch it and believe it, these things happen. I thought that I had already informed everybody, as Penelope had informed everybody, to not give this asshole a platform. But you continue to do it. So whoever is giving money to her is going to have blood on their hands when she doesn't wake up in the morning. Make her go to rehab. Make her go to rehab and get off the streets. If you don't take her off the streets, she's going to kill somebody. And then what are you going to feel like when it comes out here and all of us say, hey, look, we tried to say she's doing this, and then we track it back to the email and find out who's giving her money, and then we put all the focus on you and say you gave her the money to do this, to go and kill this child because she got behind the wheel again? How are you going to feel when you are the number one asshole on the internet? Because you will be. Stop enabling her. Stop enabling Michelle. Stop. So this baby triggered so many, because they actually had babies who actually died of SIDS. SIDS is controversial because there are people who say that SIDS doesn't exist. And the reason why that is said is because there is one school of thought that says there's always a reason, that when it comes down to that baby had a heart defect, that baby was suffocated accidentally or intentionally, etc., etc. And there are those who say that true SIDS doesn't happen. Well, from the 80s, it was thought that SIDS just does happen, that we just don't know why. Kind of like if you've ever had kittens, and one kitten, just doesn't thrive, and then you're trying, and that kitten doesn't survive, and it's called vanishing kitten syndrome. People kind of thought that that's the way that it was with SIDS. And then with babies and cats, when they'd find a cat going all up, snuggling with the baby, then they would say that the cat took the air of the baby and blamed cats for killing babies. No, the cat probably just got so snuggly and smelled the milk and was too close to the baby. And so the baby, not being able to move itself well enough, probably had too much carbon monoxide and rotating back in. And it caused too much carbon monoxide, and baby didn't survive. So that's the way. There was always this rumor that cats kill babies. Well, anyway, if you look back on my community post, and it's on there, and I can repost if no one has seen it, but in 2000, let me see here. I'm going to let you guys listen to this really quick while I dig this up. Just a second, or I'm going to go there.
Quite very much taller than her, and he seems to be very aware of this, and he does not ever seem to be using his height or his size against her. He is very docile towards her. She is, as you can tell, out of control, laughing, trying to get him to, be in this fun. And he's not having any fun with this, that she has hurt him, and he's hurt. And he just wants to get out of here, like he says. And she's like, no. Well, you hear her, no, we're not. She's trying to. So she is, pulling the thing where she's reinventing the history. She's turning it around. She's saying what's happening isn't happening. She is absolutely under the influence, and this is what she's doing.
I want to get the fuck away from you. I just want to get the fuck away from you.
Back up and I'll leave you alone.
All right?
Just back up like 10 feet. Just back up and I'll leave you alone. Get up and
You're drunk and you're trying to
I'm
escalate
not drunk, I'm not. Just please back
Trying to
up.
escalate
No,
the
just
situation.
please back up like 10
Fuck
feet.
out of
Just
here.
back up like 10 feet.
Look,
Just I'll leave you alone.
no, I'm just
Put your ring back on your finger. This is so funny. Okay, I'll follow you.
Okay, so she is mad because he doesn't have his ring on his finger. Now she says in there where she's trying to do some damage control in this video that she posted because she thinks it's so funny. It says, his ring is back on his finger and he's cooking me French toast. So she's basically saying, everything is all better. So I don't know at what point he took his ring off. I don't know if that was symbolic of when they had their fights where he was like, I'm done. This is over. I'm walking away. But here she's like, put the ring back, put the ring back. She's trying to block him. And as you can see all over his shirt, again, she's got that cement and whatnot. So you can see that her hands have been all over him, pushing him back. As you can see, the finger marks up towards his neck and everywhere else. He is in no way using his hands towards her. I am sensitive to the fact that people are abused and it doesn't look like abuse. I am absolutely sensitive to that, and I have very much been on the side of being a victim of abuse, okay? But I have also grown very, very tired and resentful of those that fake being victims of domestic abuse because of how there are no resources, and there were no resources when I needed them. People that do this, that claim things like this are domestic abuse, are hurting victims to come. They're hurting current victims. The victims right now need help. They need resources. They need shelter. Those things are hard to come by. And when you have somebody like Michelle who manipulates the system, it makes it hard for others to get the help that they need. So I don't want anybody thinking that I'm making light of these accusations and that I'm so naive that I just think that people can act different on camera or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. No, this is one of the specific ones that she is saying was abuse that she brought to the judge. And like I say, you can see all of her fingerprints all over him. Now, if you are a victim of a man abusing you, do you stop him? Do you corner him? Do you refuse to let him past you? And then when he does kind of try to slither past you, do you then follow him and say, I'm following you? No. That is why all of these things in here are very indicative, and I feel strongly in my position that this is a good example of how she intimidated him. That there are no delineation when it comes to spousal abuse, that it is an equal opportunity offender. It is not that it's just men that can do it. There are women that are domestic abusers across the board. Okay? Arguably, for the physical part, yes, men probably get the better of women. But when it comes to psychological, verbal, financial, etc. abuse, it's across the board. I believe that Etienne was physically abused by Michelle as well. Now look at this.
But you need light. You need light.
Listen to that evil laugh.
Go on with these all the time.
That evil laugh. This is what she was talking about on panel last night.
Oh my God.
That poor Penelope had shown this. Look at poor Etienne.
Okay, look at this man.
Okay?
Look at what she's
Michelle
done to
brought
him.
this up last night. Michelle brought this up, saying that Penelope. She was saying that Penelope ruined her online career because this is the way that she started. That everybody needs to know how she started, and that Molly says she's a gold digger, and I know. And y'all, before you come at me, I know that Molly said she's a gold mine, but I'm playing here, okay? I'm playing. You gotta just, for all of the Captain Obviouses and all of the people without a sense of humor, and even just don't. I know what I'm doing here, okay? So anyway, she likes to bring up things, and she's always been able to do that when she's backed up against a corner like the spider in the Gillian's Island. Anybody who tries to put a focus on her, she will put the focus on all of these other things and do word association, name association, people association, a combination of events and whatnot. So the other person is off their game and going, what in the double fuck happened here? Because I came in here to talk to you about this and it ended up here. Well, because of Penelope and because of Michelle Lola Montez Sabate, who put this up on her own Facebook. Okay? This was brought from her own Facebook. Penelope didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I got this from her own Facebook. Michelle posted this is that she thought she was so funny because in the end of this, where you go and you see that she put lime. Is that what she's saying? She put lime or cement. I can't even tell what she's saying. Bottom line, by the time that she was done rubbing this all over him, his neck and everything was just red, like his skin was just burnt, like a chemical burn. And you can see her hands all over here. And you can see this man just looking dejected, and he's on film. She started filming him so that she could bring it in as proof of her being abused. And like I say, she's chasing him. She's cornering him. She's putting her hands all over him. He took off his wedding ring. So she was afraid that he was going to go and tell people what really happened. So she goes and tries to get ahead of this and act like it's a big joke. It's not a joke. It's not funny. This is a man who's dejected. Look at those furrowed brows. Does this look like an abuser to you? No. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave every person alone. And focus on Michelle and her actions and how she needs to go to long-term inpatient rehab and then a group home setting. She was bragging about, her things. Yeah, she gets disability. And I know that, Nigel or whatever, tried to clown me. Because this is what I don't understand. And you all know this. Is that in the beginning. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm about to go off on a tangent. I have never flip-flopped with Michelle. I have called out her behavior from day one. I have never interacted one-on-one with Michelle. There might have been a comment or two where she's came in and said something on my thing, and I've been like, I told her to, retreat back to hell, something like that. But I have never emailed her, talked to her, had any civil back and forth with her whatsoever. I have never flip-flopped or changed my position whatsoever in any way. And no matter what she says, that's never happened. Okay? So, with that being said, the focus needs to be on her. And that's where this is. I am on here to dispel the rumors that she brought up last night about ETN and she loved him more than air. Is this loving somebody more than air? Reverse this. If this was a man taking pictures of a woman that he had just put a chemical on and was chemically burning him, and you saw this woman just displaced and the woman's eyes just looking blank and looking down and holding her head down and just being dejected, and this man was saying, ha ha, look what I just did. I had her, that little woman out there, and I put this all over, ha 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 ha, and the ring is back on, and now the little woman's cooking for me again, ha 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 ha. Would you then keep telling that woman that, oh yeah, you're the victim to the man? No, Michelle is not the victim of anybody. Michelle is not the victim of anybody. Michelle causes and creates victims. And let's get back to the baby with SIDS. Okay, so on my community post, I posted this, and so it's back there, and I can post it again so it's more recent for everybody to see who has not seen. I was given this by a private investigator long ago, and I sat on it for a long time before I came out with it, but when Michelle wanted to make her bones on Molly's handoffs, because she wanted Molly to be like, oh, big mean Molly did this. But then she tries to use Molly as credit. Just like she tries to say, well, Trey said I had a stroke. Well, fucking Trey doesn't know anything, does he? I don't know. I don't know why anybody is bringing up Trey. Why is anybody bringing up Trey? Okay? And when TCL came into this, she was tagging Michelle what she was doing to me. TCL was one of the ones who piles on me and bullies me and then tags Michelle to see Michelle what I'm doing. So I'm like, but then she's whatever, okay? So what I had said is that Michelle is on SSDI. People want to fight me and say it's SSI. Whatever. I said that there are income limits on that. And Nigel or TCL or whatever wanted to say that I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about and I don't know everything. I haven't watched all of the videos. In fact, I said I've never watched a whole video and I don't know what I'm talking about. No, bitch, what I said is that I don't have time to listen to 28 hours of Michelle sitting on her ass on a couch and listening to everything. That in fact, the clip channels that go and get the meat out of all of the fat that she spews and put the meat up there are the real heroes, so that people like me can see the actual things that she said, because in truth, I have not listened to all, or maybe not even one whole one of Michelle's, because she spews bullshit. I don't have time like that. So TCL wants to make a thing, and yeah, see, she never even watched a whole video of you. Look, Michelle, and it was tagging Michelle. So the video that I made about why I have my bones with, yeah. Okay? So what I said is that there are income limits and that Michelle is, in fact, exploiting the system of Social Security. Well, she's sitting there saying that she's making all this money at Walmart and everything. She's not going to work there for very long because she's not going to fuck up her actual income. If she goes and works a job where she's making all of this money, it will affect her income. Do you think that SSI knows that this man was ordered to pay all of her bills? That Michelle had not one fucking bill because she made this poor man pay all of them. And alimony on top of it. He had to make the house payment for this beautiful house. And this house had the extras, like these spindles and stuff like that being made on a staircase, that's an extra when you're building a house. And I think that's like a $17,000 upgrade. This house is beautiful before it became infected with Michelle. Okay. And now the whole thing's going to have to be fumigated. The floors are going to have to be ripped out, everything, because this man bought a dream. And the part of that dream was that he thought that he could fix Michelle. But TCL wants to say that I'm a fool because there are she says there are no income limits on SSI or SSDI because she knows because every freaking family tree on her has been on this and she's been on this and she's been on. So I don't get any of those programs, so I don't know. And I never have. I've never made a cent off of my kid or any of my health problems. I don't get any help, any SSDI or anything like that. But I can Google and see that Georgia does have limits. And so I can tell you that Georgia did not know when, or actually, you know what? I apologize, SSI, SSDI. She's been on it long enough. That's a federal program, blah, 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 blah. So whether it's state assistance she's getting or federal things she's getting, I can guarantee you that they do not know that Michelle has no cost of living. Well, she didn't when I said this, and now she's actually paying rent, okay? Supposedly on the equity. I can tell you that all of the money that Michelle got from Cash App, Michelle's Cash App, all that she got from Cash App, all that she got from the people privately PayPaling her, all of the money that she gets from the sugar daddies that she has on the list, all of the money that she gets from people that she can exploit from her past. Looking at you, Trey Man, wherever you are, who can't give her any money but gave her money, and that he was paying alimony on top of everything else. She didn't even pay, like she said, she didn't pay for the toilet paper that wiped the snail trails from her twat. Or, wipe her ass, whatever. She's saying that she did not even have to pay for toilet paper. That he paid for the house, plus alimony, plus the car payment, plus insurance for the car, plus her cell phone. And she's dipping into Social Security. And she's getting Social Security because, as she labeled off last night, bipolar and PTSD. And she said borderline. Now, she claims borderline. But those of us who, looking at you, normal bird lady, and others, borderline can be something that you are diagnosed with for having a strong reaction. If you listen to the minute that I just talked about, somebody would say, I have borderline personality because of that. Sure. Okay. Whatever. I react strongly to assholes. And this is an asshole here because when she brings up the SIDS, private investigator showed me this, and it is proven to be her because this is Michelle and this is her, the way that she writes. Okay. So somebody named Jay Graham is in this thing in Elite Fitness, and they write in all caps because they are talking about Michelle. And this was December 9th of 2000. Okay. Bring your ears in here. Bring your good ears. This person says, why? Was there not enough said about her for people not to believe me? I don't think that I'm the only one to believe that. Does she still belong over there? And do people think that she's not a narc? Were you saying that I should post that because you agree, that because you disagree, because everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but I know for a fact that she's a narc? Everyone caught in away too many lies over there. I don't think she has too many brain cells left over from all of the drugs that she has done because she's the dumbest person that I've ever heard of. Man, she is worthless and a waste of a person. Sorry to be so cruel, but this is truly the person she is. P.S. I'm a girl. 4 smiley faces. December 9th, 2000. Somebody was so pissed off, Jay Graham, wherever you are, I hear you and I see you. In 2000, people were trying to warn the internet that she's a narc and the dumbest person on the planet and has brain damage from all the freaking drugs she was doing. 2000. Okay? Hold on. Boo needs another treat. Boo! Your butt is getting too fat from all these treats, but you know that I can't say no because other people are listening and they'll call the authorities on me if I don't give you a treat from you scratching. Oh, Boo-Boo, I love you. Boo's getting a fat butt. And so when he lays on me and I pet him, he's got a significant butt. And I've been telling him his butt's too big from all these treats, but does he listen? And remember, I don't do the one kind of treats because it causes seizures. So I only use these. I have them acting like you guys can see. They're from Sheba. They're meat sticks. And they have a cat that looks just like him. So I'm like, okay, cat looks like him. Can I go, Boo-Boo? go, boo-boo. Oh, you won't even pull it out. You won't even pull this out of the treat thing. Oh, I have to put it right there. Okay, boo-boo. Now he'll let me have a little bit more time without fondling him. Sorry for the boo-boo interruption, but everybody has to stop for boo-boo. And Boo has this new thing when he goes to lay down on me at night. I don't need my weighted blanket because I got my Boo. And he lays on my side, and it's just amazing. But now he likes to have a Sherpa blanket around him while he sleeps on me. So he'll get on me, and he'll go in, and he'll start nudging the inside of my arm. And then that's my cue to wrap him up in the Sherpa blanket on top of me. So now I look like an envelope that needs to be opened when I get woken up. You have to see the boo-boo all cuddled up on the Sherpa blanket. But his head's out. That's the thing, is I'm not going to get my cats in, so don't worry about that. But anyway, oh my God, it is so cute. It's so cute. He's so cute. I love my Boo. Anyway, okay, enough about Boo. Back to the hag that I'm speaking on, as the kids say. So this person says this, and they're from this Elite Fitness, okay? And I'm sorry for those of you who know this, but this is a refresher for everybody who doesn't know about all that is Michelle. And oh my God, what if this isn't recording and I'm sitting here talking to myself? Okay, so November 26, 2000. Someone says, can someone email me with any info? Thanks, blackcatty@hushmail.com. Now, she is all that. New member comes in. Okay, this is who they're talking about, because she comes in, SHEZALTHAT. We know that that's her email. Okay, again, this is November 26, 2000, so almost 24 years ago. And December 10th, someone says, no, I agree with you. Sorry about the bro thing. And Jay Graham says, no problem. At least we can warn people on this board before this whore gets people on this board in trouble. You can call me bro if you want. Okay. Now, this thing, December 8th, 2000 says, oh, I'm sure that all have made up a story to tell certain people she's all that. I don't think that you need to read into anything and get any more people into trouble. Maybe you should try using a new name so that everyone does not know that you're a narc. But then again, you're dumb enough to be a narc that you would not even think about changing your name, probably because you think that you're all that. Not real sorry, but from what I've seen about the pics of you, you're not very far from that, and your kid's ugly too. Message edited by Jay Graham. And then there's a new member there. Now, this is what they're getting at, because in that same forum, back in 2000, they were talking about her and saying that she's awful and stay the fuck away from her and calling her a narc. Okay. So then we see this, she is all that as a new member, and it says that she joined February 2004. So she goes back into this same chat forum. And this is where it says, now for the purposes of discussion, the word gear means, I don't want to, this probably won't be monetized as it is because of my horrible mouth, but the word gear right here is talking about, when somebody is lifting weights and they're doing a lot of work and they're not seeing the progress that they want, and so they take some thing to make their muscles bigger. That is what is being referred to as gear here. And what are the effects if a pregnant person took those things to make them bigger? I know from having 6 children and my 3 being preemies, I know that prednisone, which is prednisone's a steroid, that they had to give me that when I went into premature labor to make my baby's lungs develop, that at a certain time, they wanted that to be on their edge. So imagine if somebody who was pregnant was taking that on a regular basis while they were pregnant. Imagine what that would do to the baby. Would that baby be born healthy, or would it be born addicted like all of her babies were? Anyway, here she goes, and she says, gear and women. Hi, guys. I don't know if any of the older people may have gravitated here from anabolics.com or freakymuscle.com. The sites are both down. It's been a while since I posted on any kind of forum containing AS. And you know what AS talks about if we're talking about that in this forum, like anabolic prednisone steroids. Anyway, I have some information for the guys that did not know Trim 14 and me. Okay. Who's Trim 14? Tim? Something happened to us. Her and Tim. We just lost a child to SIDS, and doctors are saying that it could be linked to all the gear we did in the past. Okay. You getting me here? She's trying to, because we know what she would put in her body if she was pregnant. Okay. So, in other words, the doctors are saying it could have been from all of the substance you put in your body that caused your baby to not survive. Because, in fact, that baby was born very sick. All of her babies were born under the effect, and that's why Mama stepped in. This is how the legend goes. This is how it is, and anybody who looks at her is going to have a hard time saying differently, especially with the problems that at least one of her child has, and the other one is taken away from any influence of her, thank God. And the other one, I believe, just kind of stays out of everything, but definitely you can see the effects of what somebody who doesn't take good care of themselves when they're pregnant and doesn't think that certain things pass over the placental barrier. I'm not even going to get into what she probably did when she was pregnant, because you all know it ain't just cigarettes, honey. So this is where people get divided in the community and say, oh, SIDS bullshit. They're not saying it like to be mean or insensitive. They're saying, look, she didn't take care of herself since she was a child, and she started very, very early into behavior problems. That boarding, she was sent to a boarding school. No, it's like today's wilderness camp. Her mom sent her away because her mom couldn't stand her. She didn't get sent to boarding school because she's so wealthy. No, she got wilderness camped. Anyway, her doctors are saying that the loss of her child could be linked to all of the gear we did in the past. Now, let's take apart that sentence. Now, as we do find out, or we are finding out, there are things that are linked to male paraffin wax, whatever she was putting on her hands the other day. She had the big bowl of it. That she saved all the goo from all of the men from all of the NOLA and Texas and everything. She has a big bowl of goo that she was putting her hand in the other day. Well, so whatever that goo, they are saying now that can be linked to, that the things in the goo can be linked to, it's not all on the woman, but what the woman takes while she's pregnant can affect the baby. But they are saying that there are some things that can be residual in the man, but because the man's paraffin wax is switched out, like what? I don't know. The eggs don't, they get, a man can have a baby well into his whatever because the eggs are made and the eggs are gone. Whereas as a woman, little known fact here, did you know that you were carried in your grandma if you're a woman? Because all of the eggs that a woman's ever going to have are in her as a baby. So if you're an egg and you're in your mom who's formed in your grandma's womb, those eggs have been there because all of the eggs that a woman's ever going to have are in her as she's made. Really weird, huh? So that's why, it's like back in the 80s and whatever, they'd always say, watch out for your old eggs, because the instances of something happening, it can happen at any age, of course, but the instances of something happening, the older a woman gets are more likely. So while she sits there and tries to pull this in here and say, oh, all of that me and Trim did could have affected the baby. Well, no, he's saying that whatever substances you took that caused that poor baby to be born so sick that you were not supposed to be alone with him, but because you went and you started fucking your neighbor and you were indeed alone with the baby and the baby was in the blanket and whatever. And I don't want to get dragged for talking about this, but when she brings this up every other time so that people can just let down their guard and not hold her to anything. And this is what she's going to do in court next week or whatever. She's like, I just had a baby die of SIDS and I'm going through a bad divorce. And so I just had a couple of drinks to just kind of let loose. And I wasn't even drunk. And then my mouth was dry and I'm a llama and I spit at people and things. And I didn't do anything wrong. And then this truck driver and then Scarborough and Trimble and Trey and blah, 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 and I can't do it. And please let me go. Don't let her get away with it. Don't focus on what people are saying, except for the truth. And the truth is this. Michelle's a big bag of shit, and she's been a liar, and she's taken advantage of how many people, and she is a human trafficking, drug dealing, drug using, child abusing, man abusing piece of shit, and keep the focus on that and get her to be accountable. And if and when she goes through rehab, an inpatient rehab for a minimum of 1 year, and then is put into a group home setting because she has this SSDI all set up, she would be fine to be in a group home. She could be in like in a beautiful old mansion group home and have her own room, and she'd probably help everybody and be the favorite there. And then she could be on social media on something, and she could talk about how wonderful her sobriety is, and we can look at her as the great story of recovery, and she can help others that come into that house and whatnot. But God, she needs to be tested every single freaking hour. Until that happens, the streets of Georgia, Mississippi, Houston, and Houston, are they two different things? The streets are not safe. Hide your newborns, hide your husbands, hide your college-age children, hide everything until Michelle Seabait is locked up. So anyway, the doctors are saying that it could be linked to all of the gear we did in the past. I'm not anti-gear, been there, done that. Just trying to get in touch with some older members so that I can drain them of everything and get back to where we were. I mean, some older members so that I can give them a link we made for our son. Okay, so in other words, she's trying to get a freaking settlement for her son. Because what, she's going to go and sue the drug dealers that gave her drugs, that gave her the roids she was dealing? What link is she trying to make in 2004 saying that her and Trim made that's linking the loss of her son into something she's trying to do? She's trying to get back into this forum 4 years later after they have called her a narc and getting everybody busted in 2000. That they are saying that, because when I researched this all, basically what was said is that, and you know how she does it, she gets everybody into what she's doing and whatnot, and she was all into, you know, bodybuilding and whatnot, and these are the pictures you see when her long crotch body is looking more muscular and whatnot. It's because she was addicted to exercise and addicted to whatever she could get, addicted to whatever she was taking when she got pregnant and having her body look a certain way and blah, blah, blah. She's obsessed with herself. So however that was, she's now trying to be able to sue somebody. She has lived off of the loss of that poor baby for 2 decades. Do not let it continue into the courtroom hearing next month, week, day, year, whenever. It takes away from the fact of what she's doing here and now. The judge, narcissists love the courtroom. Narcissists have absolutely ruined our criminal justice system, as well as every other system, because they see the courtroom as their circus. They see it as a 3-ring circus. They turn it into kangaroo court because the judge has no idea the venom that a narcissist possesses in their snake ass bodies. Judges don't care. They've got a whole caseload and whatnot, and they got somebody saying the right things and doing the right things and paid for a lawyer. And then you've got, this overworked and underpaid public defender who doesn't care and thinks, okay, we're fine with 3 days in jail. Michelle gets 3 days in jail. All right. She'll probably have them give her some anti-withdrawal drugs and whatever. She'll come out in 3 days and then be a menace to society again. No. This means to be long-term inpatient treatment, which she has had in the past. And the way the story goes is that when she does get sentenced to something, she goes into rehab, goes on there until she can glob onto a man, and then she has that man and her being this love couple that met in the rehab and is going to come out and conquer the world. And then she says and does the right things, gets out of rehab, goes out with that man. And then, of course, that man sees her on the outside, runs for his life. And then she's back to her shenanigans again. She goes through her Rolodex of what she thinks she's the Heidi Fleiss of NOLA. It's just a Rolodex of sugar daddies and people that she has shit on so that she can get money out of. And they'll all pay for her bail. They'll all set her up in an apartment. They'll pay for a motel or whatever till she can get her claws back into another man. Like this one. Okay, who has no idea what he's getting into and then defends her. Defends her to all of the people who are coming after her. Because it's been rumored that there's even, scary ass people who want her. And then people like this come out with their pew-pews and defend her. And then she gets obsessed because, a pew-pew saved her life, because then with pew-pews, then she's safe. But then she uses those pew-pews against these very people. And what happens? These people get victimized. This man needs to be able to have closure. He needs to just let this house go and get closure and move on. And there are several of us I have offered from day one that I will stand in defense of this man because he's a veteran. So before I, had a brain functioning, I think he's a little bit older than me. I don't know. I'm old as shit. But he fought. He was in the military, so he fought and stood for our country and defended the rights that I have today to sit here and talk with freedom of speech against this shitbag here. Right there, Michelle Montez Salmate. He defended me, so why wouldn't I defend him? I would always stand and defend him, and people need to keep the focus on that and leave all of the other things that Michelle does to try to divert from that focus out of this. Stop making money on her. Stop giving her the interview. Don't let her grant the interview. Let it be about what is happening in our criminal justice system to hold Michelle Lola Montez Sabate, Scarborough, Trimble. I don't even know all the other names she rattles off in a day, to hold her guilty for what she's done, because we only have what we know she's done. Can you imagine what we don't even know? My God. Oh yeah, in her escort thing. Oh my God, I should read that too. Oh my God, I'm so pissed off. She focuses on other people's husbands, and that's sick. Okay, so anyway. Oh my God. This will be a long ass video, people. I'm sorry about that. Oh, she says, just trying to get in touch with some older members that I can give them a link we made for our son. Don't want to post it here. I remember the juveniles that were associated with the other sites, and I don't want our son to be a joke for youngsters who have nothing to do than pick. Anyway, my email addy is she's all that 444 at msn.com. ... Michelle. So there we have it. In 2004, 20 years ago, she was living on the tragedy of the son that she abused in utero and was born addicted, didn't have a chance. That she was not properly caring for, that she was instead going and fucking her neighbor on and was left alone with that baby. Her own mother came out and wanted her charged with that baby's passing. And she goes into Molly's chat and starts talking, I just lost a baby of SIDS and I'm getting triggered by this conversation. Molly, what about the rope? What about the rope? What about the eyes? Molly, answer the phone. Molly, answer the phone. Molly, answer the phone. Poor Molly in Molly's defense, had a service where, people wanted to get close to Molly. So Molly had this thing where she'd give this 8x10 or whatever autographed, and you could have a one-on-one session with her, and she could set you straight in your life, whatever. It was just you know what? You want a little more of me? Here you go. Michelle signed up for that, and then Michelle sat there and tried to call Molly nonstop, and she wanted to be Molly, and she wanted to wear Molly's skin. And if you guys have not seen her videos of when she was mocking Molly and dressing up like Molly, and the fact that she uses Molly's name nonstop shows you she's the stalker. She's addicted to addictions. She's just a dick at the end of the day. So, at this point, we are going to go over to 1/23/2017. January 26, 2017, Michelle M. Scarborough in Louisiana was in fact arrested for drunk and disturbing the peace. Counts 1, 3, and GT, and I don't know what that means. And she got 6 months of a suspended license, I believe. And the crime was listed as RS 14003. I don't know what that means. Now, when you go into this and then you see that there's a DOC in Florida, the person who has a similar name's DOC number is DO5322. That poor person having the same name as Michelle is a problem. Now, the thing that I think is that the other person uses the middle name Mari. But I don't know, because Michelle loves this. And when she was trying to get off when whoever was trying to get off the phone with her the other day, Michelle, admitted like she's like this weird international man of mystery. And she says that not only did she just hop over to another state to get a driver's license so that if Georgia dares to take away her driver's license, she'll still have a driver's license. What'd she say? She has 20 different driver's licenses for 15 different states? She's a criminal, but not like a mastermind criminal, like a weird chlamydia-ridden, I don't know. Anyway, there were charges filed on July 27th of 2001 of a DUI, and I believe that that's the other person, because it was Michelle Marie Robin, because she uses the Robin in things too, and like I say, I thought long and hard before I went through any of these things that have been sent to me for years, because I never wanted to be guilty of, as y'all say, doxing. And I've been really good about that. But the fact that she has brought up all of these things and she brings them up in ways that only serve her, then I am of the belief that I can now speak on all of these things so that there is a record of the truth, so that anybody who wants a nugget of the truth, and not for entertainment purposes, but to know what is going on. And as y'all know, I'm not naive to the fact of people are suing each other for defamation. So I have to be very confident that if some asshole wants to defend Michelle and take me to court for this whole video, they can. And I have to be okay with going in front of a judge and saying, yes, this is what I said. This is why. This is how I believe this to be true. Now, this one might be the other person because it says Michelle Marie Williams, but that's one of her listed aliases. So I don't know, because it's in January 12th, 2016. And we have Michelle Marie Williams for speeding, and they have her as 5'7" and 200 pounds. And she had to take a driver safety course. Now, I don't know if Michelle ever got up to 200 pounds, but, with the, if she was pregnant and on the roids, I don't know. And then we have a November 23rd, 2005 of speeding. Now, this is where we get into the history of her home. And I do believe that, and if you guys haven't seen my short that I put into that little scene from Kingpin, I recommend everybody look at it, because she had the big fantasy of getting a man in this home, because when she got rid of this man, she wanted a man, and that's where she came along with Ski. The bitch was bitching about nobody knowing her whole story and whatnot. So I'm doing the best to give some of the backstory for people who don't know, because she wants that to be known so well. Well, here we go. Let's see. The home that she got into, because she had previously claimed bankruptcy, she could not be on the name of the house that they got. And the house is indeed beautiful. And as I said, it's got these upgrades here, where you can see that, just the spindles right there, that's an upgrade. But because of the bats, rats, and MRSA that she's got all over this house, and piss and whatever else on that poor couch, then it's devalued. And the home itself is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,388 square foot with 57,935 square feet of land. Now, it's been said that land is owned by somebody else, so you don't know. It's got the 2 floors, and as people say, that the attic is a level itself because of those poor bats. And I feel so bad. I love bats. Bats are so cute, and it makes me so sad that those bats have not been remediated, and so they will not come back into the house. And it's disgusting that she has bats because they have the hantavirus. And if we're arguing here, the bitch might have hantavirus, and this could explain it all. Anyway, it was built in 1991, and it was foreclosed upon and bank owned in 2012. Now, it does not, and probably never would be able to be licensed as a bed and breakfast from what I've heard, but she wants Ski to go and do a bed and breakfast with her. And I'm disappointed in even Ski as if that's possible, because she sat there and she called Ski's parole officer and would not let up because Ski rejected her. Ski said, no, I don't want your stuff, because the way that she got into Ski is because she sat there and she put out the thing that she had a stroke and put it out there on the internet for, oh, help, I've been a victim of online bullying on the YouTube, and I've had a stroke, I'm a stroke victim. And somebody came in, I won't say who right now because whatever, and he helped her and taught her some very, very naughty things that then she learned how to do. And then she had this whole crew that was believing in her nonsense and doxing for her and everything else. And it was a mess. Okay, to say the least. The least. I don't think that she should have a bed and breakfast because she'd be laying around and loafing around. And I thought that Ski knew what she was like. So I don't understand why Ski is giving her a platform again. Unless he's so desperate for cash. Ski, what the hell? Why would you do this? Ski, you had all of these really pretty women who were like supporting you and even giving you money and everything else and really believed in you. And you let her insult them. And then she did that to you. And she was trying to get you hurt and even unalived. And now you're listening to her again? And believe in her crap? No, don't do that. Well, anyway, the recent GoFundMe was sent to me that was said that it was set up by Molly Symbol, and it was Michelle saying she's going through a bad divorce with ETN and she needs $500,000 to save her house. Now, I, among others, reported that as a fraudulent GoFundMe, and when it was brought up to her, of course, she's saying she didn't even do it, and it was put up by Molly Symbol, and she wouldn't have anything to do with Molly, but Molly's every other freaking word out of her mouth. The bitch wants to wear Molly's skin. But anyway, I digress. So ETN bought this house as he bought everything that Michelle said. Michelle had just gotten, dumped by a husband and was lonely and whatnot, and finds ETN, however she found him, and he believed her. And she's convincing. I mean, think back to how many years ago when she wasn't quite as, well, I'm speechless. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, he married her, and I don't know if it was an hourly thing and he wanted to get the all-you-can-eat buffet or just the unlimited with Michelle. I don't freaking know, but Michelle is the bottom line, and she was whoring when she was with him, and she was, anyway. It's hard to turn a whore into a housewife, but this house was, what it was. It had been empty for a while. So that's why I don't believe that it's got great potential to sell. And maybe that's what ETN is thinking, is that it's gonna, but bottom line, dude, it's gonna go into foreclosure anyway. Let it go. Let her go. Put a restraining order on her. We will back you. Get her the out. I'm so sorry this happened, sir. And I hope to God that you find a woman who can see you for the value that you are and love you and heal this hurt. There are so many women out there, and I'm so sorry that you were victimized by this absolute human piranha. So the house back in 2022 itself was assessed for $97,563. It's that was its assessed value. The taxes are $2,508. I believe that it's estimated. Oh God, what's its current? I don't know, because when they bought it for $230. Now it was refinanced. They used it like an ATM, because Michelle, by duress and threats and whatever, forced ETN to put her on the title. And that's where her name got put on the title, and that's what is basically the kiss of death to why this man cannot get rid of her. So let's see here. It was bank owned in 2012. Looks like they bought it in 2020, but maybe not, because I have all these dates here of when it was bought. So I don't know if they bought it in 2017 and then refinanced it or put her name on it or whatever in 2018, 2020. Either way, the house has a history of being vacant for a long time and foreclosure. So it's in a depressed area. Let's see here. We already talked about, and I proved that her license adjuster, that license was indeed revoked. So the fact she's going around saying that she's a freelance adjuster, whatever, she's a freelance adjusting to you know what she's doing? She's doing the GFM. That's the kind of adjusting she's doing. She's doing the BBBBBJIT. How does it go? BBBJTUC or BBBJTIC? I think if you're advertising, it's the TUC. If you're asking, it's the TYC. That's the adjusting she's doing. She's doing the adjusting on the gonads. And then let's see here. She claimed bankruptcy in 2008. And let's see. And that's where she did it, as the Michelle Marie Robin Trimble. These are all public records. Now, let me see what else I have here. You guys have been sending me so much on this. I appreciate it. I did my own research to make sure everything's legit. And then, like I say, when I'm going through this and I'm looking at this and just screaming, don't give her a platform. Don't interview her, because that is, you could, the second I do anything with Michelle or anybody else, they're like, don't, you could lose your channel over that. Well, if I lose my channel, I will always be honest with how I lost my channel, and I will put up every single bit of communication, even if I have to do it out of somebody else or my backup channel, which may or may not be my backup channel. And I would be honest about what YouTube saw and what YouTube didn't like and how I fought it. Just like when my channel was struck in the past and I lost everything and it said I couldn't have a backup channel, I couldn't have anything, and it was like goodbye. And that's just because it was falsely reported by, anyway. If I lost my channel, I'd be honest to my subscribers, the ones who had supported me, so they could see how and why I lost my channel. But apparently, honesty in this whole platform is just, doesn't get them the super chats they need anyway. So on the GoFundMe, I don't know. I mean, Michelle said that she didn't do it, and it could be some other sucker going, God, she makes money on anything she asks, so why don't they make money? I don't know. She was asking for $500,000, and that home is valued at half that. If you are giving to that fund, please do not give to that fund. It does indeed seem to be fraudulent, and Michelle herself even says it's fraudulent. So anybody who did donate to that, I would hope that they got a refund. Let's see here. And so recently she'd been hitting trees, got multiple DUIs, assault on a law officer again, obstruction of justice, falsifying the vehicle registration. And of course she's oh no, it was a truck driver, it was the Scarborough, it was a T-Joe, it was my ex-husband, and my ex-husband is my best friend, and my best friend's best friend wants to be watching. Whatever, shut up, it's you. Shut her down every time she talks about anything and say, with all of the DUIs that you've had in the past, and all of the times that you went in front of a judge, in fact, and all of the times that you have said that you would never do it again, what the fuck gives you the right to get behind an 8,000-pound vehicle? And Dr. Phil said, what gives you the right to get behind an 8,000-pound vehicle of mass destruction and put my grandchildren into harm? Until she's not taking her sleeping pills, her at-home pills, her Xanax. She's mixing Xanax and alcohol, people. This is why, okay, she stopped drinking because she knows that she can't win that if she gets pulled over. So then she fought she wouldn't do the breathalyzer, and she didn't think they'd take her in and do blood. Once they drew blood, then they could show that it was DUI. She's under the influence. And of course, what she's coming out with are what she has been proven to be on for over 25 years. And when she gets busted, she brings everybody into it and thinks everybody's all her friend and everything. And then she is so dumb and brags about it and is reckless. She gets busted and she turns every other person in. So the fact and the truth about her being a narc and an informant, I believe, based on all that I've been given, I believe that there is truth in that. If you look at all of the things that she's been charged with and how any one of us would be under the jail under RICO or welfare fraud or SSDI fraud, and have to have a freaking, see, even if she gets one of those like blow things on her vehicle, she'll still do the drugs until she has no more Xanax. Because like I say, people having panic attacks can't get Xanax. There's no doctor prescribing anything that she has. How many times has she been married? She was bragging the other day when I was watching these things. She's like, Molly said I'm a gold digger. Or gold mine. I know, Captain Obvious. Well, Molly said, and somebody did a search and they said there's 55 channels. And this was like, I was watching her when she was getting in trouble, and I watched an old video and she said 55. Now the other night when she said, somebody did a search. I did. There's 77 channels because they all know I'm a gold mine. So you have to have me on your channel because I'm gold. No, you're an old gold digging whore. Knock it off. Retire, bitch. Anyway, people that do the things she does do not live as long as she does. So I'm convinced that the bats, rats, cockroaches, and pregnant armadillos have infected her so that they're in their DNA. I mean, you can't kill a cockroach and only the good die young. So I think that's what's going on here. So, you bunch of angry vaginas. A bunch of angry vaginas. She talks about, well, no, because you don't understand the drama community, and I'm in the drama community, and Molly said so. Okay, Molly is not on this platform anymore. And I'd much rather see Molly than I would Michelle. And I think that Molly had to get out because it was cutting into the quality of her overall life. And again, Molly put limits on Michelle, and you do not put limits on a narcissist. If you do, then you are scorched earth. There's this channel, and I put up on my, if I'm watching this stuff and I'm still not on my channel and stuff, I also put up community posts, and Michelle, you are who I'm talking about. And I have so many narcissists in my life. It's terrible. They're like I'm the flame and they're moths. So there's this channel by Elizabeth S. So it's like ES when she does them. And Checkmate Humanity does some good stuff on narcissists as well. Michelle's a narcissist and she's backed into a corner right now. And we got to keep her in that corner because some of these things okay. So there's this channel and it's Understanding Narcissism by Elizabeth SHA. I can't see in my screenshot. But it basically says, a narcissistic personality disorder is a condition where the sufferer gets to destroy people's lives while their victims get blamed and end up in therapy. And I don't think that there's anything more true said than looking at ETN right now. So when she wanted to bring that up and blame it on Penelope and say that, you know, she loved him more than Aaron and everything, no, she loved the fact that she could gold dig him and that she could exploit him and that he had a heart in here so big that he could not see with his eyeballs what she was saying. And if his ears were blocked and his eyes were covered, his heart still couldn't understand what she did to him. Leave him alone. It's been years. Their divorce has been final for years, hasn't it? And she's had how many husbands? And now she's saying that, you know, she got the ashes from the one husband or whatever. That one husband hadn't talked to her in years. And one of the things that I believe in, and it's a quote, I can't remember who said it right, but it says, one of the most underrated ingredients for having a good life is a clear conscience. And to know that you aren't out here doing people dirty. And hiding who you are or screwing people over lets you sleep peaceful at night. Karma is real. Energy is contagious. Live accordingly. So what it's saying is if you are doing people dirty, if you are hiding who you are and you're screwing people over, you can't sleep at night. So when she says, I've taken my sleeping pill, yeah, bitch, it's because you are doing people dirty, hiding who you are and screwing people over. And remember, bitch, karma is real. Energy is contagious and you need to live accordingly. And we need to stop her from the impending danger that we see. Stop her before there is something that is unstoppable. Stop her before she does hurt somebody. Stop giving her money. You give her money, then that's how she can buy her drugs. If you don't give her money, she's only got what the state is giving her. And then people, well, she can't live on that. Well, you know what? She's supposed to be living on that. And there's a hell of a lot of people who do live on that. And you know what? They're not out there being able to travel to all these other states and get all these other driver's licenses and everything else. And they have to learn how to live within a budget and live within their means. And they do have to actually work as much as they can while they're on SSI so that it doesn't do it. But she's cheating the system. You out there that are on SSI that want to say, oh, well, she can't live on that and whatever. You out there who are on SSI who are suffering. You out there who are on SSI, don't you just look at this and aren't you disgusted knowing that this poor man was actually paying for all of her bills, her home, alimony on top of that, her car, insurance, her toilet paper, as she brags about. And that alimony was going to alcohol and drugs. Those of you who are on SSI, doesn't this disgust you? Those of you who are on SSI, stand up and make her be accountable. The way that Elizabeth also says is that if you want to confront a narcissist about how they wronged you, then be prepared to watch how they make it all your fault. And this is what happened here. And ETN doesn't even go into trying to get justice for all that she took from him or wronged him. He is just simply trying to get his house back. And like I say, he needs to just let the thing go. Stop paying. ETN, stop paying on the house. Let it go into foreclosure. Let a team of sheriffs extract her cockroach ass from that house and do not be anywhere near it. There was a rumor going around that Trey guy, that Trey guy was going to be with whatever. I don't know how to help get her out of that house, and I would not want anybody to do that. It needs to be that she gets, because even if it goes into foreclosure, then she'll sit there and fight it in foreclosure court and whatnot, and she'll fight in an eviction. So he needs to stop paying now so that it goes into foreclosure and then the eviction goes, because if the eviction starts in the fall, then she'll be able to say that she'll be put out in the cold. She could buy another year. She's buying time by being in this house and being obnoxious, and this needs to stop being rewarded. And when anybody talks to her about anything, then she makes it somebody else's fault. Don't let her do it. Hold it in there. And another thing by Checkmate Humanity states that you don't always have to tell your side of the story. Time will. And I hope that looking back at this and seeing ETN and seeing that in the beginning she was out there and took Molly's scraps and got her own following from Molly haters and whatnot, and people who wanted to, champion Michelle and ride in being Captain Save a Hose and dumb shits that they were and all that nonsense. I would think that this has been a great example in ETN's silence and how that he didn't have to come out and tell his story, and he still hasn't. He still has not spoken. We have done the process of deduction and seen what she put out there and looked at the facts and read the lines in between. And as Checkmate Humanity says, you don't always have to tell your side of the story. Time will. This is a huge example of this. I like that channel, Checkmate Humanity. So my community posts, I put things out there, and I'll put the things about the roids. And then another quote here by Elizabeth states, a narcissist will be angry at you for finding out the truth about them. And that's where, when she was bringing up Penelope, we see that, oh, all of her anger is at Penelope. And then people take that, oh yeah, Penelope did this, and Penelope, well, that was wrong that Penelope did that. No. Penelope was putting the truth out there, and if people would have listened to Penelope in the beginning, me and Tragic were like one of the two that were like commenting on Penelope's, stuff. And when Penelope wouldn't do a video, I was like, where is she? Where is she? And Tragic's like, yeah, she has to take a break or whatever. Me and Tragic met in that way, and I believe that Tragic has done a great job in putting the money that she has earned from her channel back into society and helping others. And that's the way that it is. As you know, I put mine into whatever, my garden. I was able to, do a garden. So what I put in something good out of something bad. So the money that was given to me at my Cash App, at Tabitha Jane 0. What is my Cash App? Tabitha Jane 0. Tabitha Jane 0. I don't know if there's something, it's been so long, but I made my garden, so I try to make something good out of that, and then show you my garden so there's something positive out of it. But this is also by Elizabeth, and it says, when a narcissist realizes that someone has caught onto when a narcissist realizes that you are onto them, is when they start calling you crazy. So whenever anybody confronts Michelle, like when she was on that panel and they were not letting her run it and they were telling her to shut up and listen, then she starts calling them things and putting it on them and say, they don't know, and they don't know how, they don't know this, and they don't know how she started. No, how you started is that you hijacked Molly's channel, and Molly looked at you like you were a piece of shit on her shoe and said, oh yeah, you're a gold mine. Anybody who wants to go and watch that train wreck's going to make a lot of money. Go make a lot of money off her. So what? But the rest of us who then found out the truth from other people speaking out about it, we see her as nothing to what she is, just a gold digger whore. But anyway. And then this one by Elizabeth says, narcissists never want to talk about what they did. However, they'll happily talk about how we reacted. And that's the thing. And you'll watch, and things that I've said in here will be taken out, and it'll be like, oh my God, Tabitha Jane did this, and Michelle will threaten me, and Michelle will say these things, and people who, her sycophants will, sit there and say things about me and take apart what I've said in here. And it's important to not let them do that, because it's normal for me to have a reaction to somebody like her, because as y'all know, when I came onto the scene, I was doing it because I felt that there was untold stories in between news stories, that between the black and the white is the gray, and the gray is actually our brain. Our brain is gray matter. And if you tap into that gray matter, you can see what's there. And I was, the Watts case is fascinating to me because I believe there's an untold story. I believe that there's an ETN in the Watts story, and y'all know that. And then, I was trying to give that untold story, and my listeners started watching this train wreck, because some of my listeners had came from Molly, because Molly had done the Watts in a different way. We all that were out there did our Watts stories in our own way and brought our own personal experience into why we felt that the Watts story should be presented in the way that it was or wasn't. And so people were talking about this train wreck, Michelle, and I didn't want to cover Michelle at all. But so many people were like, oh my God, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? So I started looking into it, and I'm like, oh my God. And so, I started doing my reactions and stuff. And then people would react to my reactions and say that, my voice is a Disney character and I don't even have a real voice and all of that. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I got a lot of haters for it. And then people saying that, oh, I'm in love with Chris Watts. And yeah, I really, yeah. It's because they want to look at how I react as opposed to focusing on the real problems. And that's what Michelle does every single time when she's on a panel or whatever, and people bring her up on the panel with good intentions. And then Michelle wants to turn it around so that she is saying what she wants to say so that she can control, because it's all about control with Michelle. Can't let her have it. And then she'll start saying how you reacted. Oh, somebody did this to me. No. And another quote by Elizabeth says, a narcissist wants to convince you that your reactions to their actions are the problem, when without their actions, there would be no reactions. And I feel that this is true. And I want you guys to look at that and see how many reactions to her actions are actually the problem. But if you get down and focus on the problem, it is her behavior. It is that she is endangering innocent people. Can you imagine some innocent family that's taking home their newborn, maybe their preemie newborn, and they're on the street, and she's coming from the taco truck with just a couple of margaritas? Doesn't everybody drink at lunch? Doesn't everybody? How do they have alcohol in restaurants if you're not allowed to drink in them? Remember her saying that last year? Yeah. And what if she goes and she takes it out and she kills that mom and new father and the baby? Are all of you who are enabling this and focusing on my reaction or other people's reactions going to say that it's our fault that then she killed that family? How is the sheriff of Hamilton and all of those in MAD that don't even seem to have a chapter in her area, and the supervisory committees that won't make Sheriff What's-His-Face do their job in that county? How are they all going to feel when it comes out that none of these people did their jobs in keeping this hazard off the road? And then she's saying she didn't alter her plates and blah, 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 blah. And I can't imagine that she would alter her plates, and it was loose and what, she's a screw loose. But she said that when she's talking about her driver's license, she said she's an organ donor. She's an organ donor. She's even an organ donor. Like, we're supposed to clap and be like, you're an organ donor? Nobody wants your organs, ma'am. Sure, you can check that box, but when they receive this Swiss cheese liver that's going to, that her liver, I do not doubt that she's in near multi-organ failure. I do not doubt that her liver is in such a horrible condition that she has some type of hepatitis now. I do not doubt that she could internally bleed from the damage that she's done to her liver. There's nobody that would take her liver. Please do not give her an award, a ribbon, or even one of her special AA chips. Did you hear her saying once again that she doesn't have the chips from the AA meeting because her chips that she gets are such special chips? Like when she was trying to say that she had the 2-week chip, and I got on there and I said, that does not say 2 weeks. And in fact, when people zoomed in on it, it was a 24-hour chip. Yeah, I busted Michelle out because she was not actually going to AA. Remember, all these times that she has said she is sober, this is what people go through when they have addicts in their life. And we're on this crazy train with her. And those of us who are trying to say, do not get detracted, look at this. Do not be a part of the problem. Put all of the focus on Michelle's actions and do not give her a platform. Sure, if you want to cover what happened in court, whatever. But let it be that then whoever didn't give her what she deserved in court, their contact number is there. Or let us know who the prosecutor is so that the prosecutor can connect this 25-year plus reign of terror. She's saying she hasn't hurt anybody. Well, how do we know? How many bodies have turned up along the side or by trees where she lives? How many missing people are there that she's just ran over and rolled down a freaking ravine? How many? I mean, let's start looking at that. Here we go. And this is from Elizabeth as well, because it says here. And this is something that I've had such a hard time learning. And, you know, I was raised by addicts. There's not a sober branch on my family tree. And I tried to break free, and if I could have had this tattooed on my forehead, it might have worked, because it says, don't argue with a narcissist. You'll get angry, and the narcissist enjoys it. Because a true narcissist is not affected. And I go through this, and I said to a close friend the other day, I said, why isn't she scared? Why doesn't she stop her behavior? Why does this not affect her? Think about it. She enjoys the attention she's getting. She enjoys the fact that all of us who have had people hurt and have had addicts in our life and have had addicts lie their way through everything and gamble away our homes and our futures and our childhoods. She triggers a lot of us for a lot of reasons. Think about it. I mean, back in the 70s, well, I guess probably started in the 50s, men would work and they would go to happy hour after work. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine your husband working a 9 to 5 and then going and getting drunk and then driving home? But there wouldn't be any money from what they made all day because some of them couldn't handle that. And then there wasn't the money to bring home. And, you know, who's to say if alcoholism wasn't such a big part of my history, what my life would have been. And so I think that, you know, so many people are like me and they see their loved ones in Michelle and they see their other loved ones in ETN. And Michelle has triggered us all, and it's time for her to be held accountable. So let's write the letters to the DA. Let's say that, you know what, we've got her in her day of court, and let's have them know what she's really done and how she's affected all of us and how we fear for the people in the states that she's haunting right now. Let them know what we know, that they couldn't figure out on their own, apparently. Now in 2020 is when she shot at ETN, and she headbutted the 2 sergeants. Wasn't it the 2 sergeants she headbutted? And okay, here's the thing. She shot at him with his own gun. He went and ran and barricaded himself. The SWAT team had to come to the home. That's how they knew the gate code, okay? What she wanted to change is that ETN was doing that, and that was all bullshit, right? Which, of course, I called out. Everybody was saying it was me causing problems for poor victim Michelle, blah, 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 blah. Well, she didn't want anybody to have the gate code because she knew that without the gate code, they couldn't get her out of the house. Well, when the SWAT team came and got this accomplished military man out safely, she headbutted the lieutenant. She's so stupid that she didn't know how to fire a gun properly, that the kickback cut her hand. Think about that. She wants to be out there, she's freaking Annie Oakley, and she doesn't even know about the kickback of a gun, to the effect that the gun cut her hand. So she's freaking out. She's, doing her normal thing, foaming at the mouth and everything, typical Michelle. Headbutting deputies and whatnot. And so the EMS, who's trying to help her because she's getting blood all over, she starts spitting on them, biting them, and scratching them. And this is in 2020. And you know what this man did? Because, and this is sad, but I believe it's because ETN was covering for her because he still believed in her lies and whatnot. He just said, yeah, well, she wasn't taking her meds. She had a bad day. Because that's what happens with us victims, we make excuses for the addicts in our lives. Because it's embarrassing. You're embarrassed.
She's taken his soul. She's taken his confidence. He doesn't know what to do. He has no idea how to handle her. Nobody does. We have witnessed in, 6 months, what Michelle has done to an entire social media platform. She has conned people into doing things that hurt others. She has hurt others immeasurably. She has had how many people come on that are female and offer to help her in every way, shape, and form, and she discards them. But any man that says hello, even in an email. Because I don't know if you guys paid attention, but a few weeks ago, she said she was getting off of all social media because she was going to be rich with a man from Arabia that she had found a prince. So some poor man was probably just doing one of those phishing scams. And it turned out to be her. And then he was like, never mind. I won't scam you. And then she went back to Ski. She was absolutely obsessed with Ski. She wanted Ski to be in there because I believe that she wanted a man to be in there. So when the sheriffs go and try to get her out of that house so that it can be sold as per the divorce agreements, she wanted a man to be in there so that all of the pew-pews that she has in there will be used. And she wouldn't care if somebody got hurt in the process of defending her. She absolutely would not.
So that's what you'll get if you listen to my playlists and my other 38 videos on her, is you'll get the facts. And as I look through this and I look through all of my notes, I'm putting things together because what I think happened here. I'm sorry, ETN, but I need to impart the truth so that people understand here. I've never spoken to ETN. I've never emailed ETN. I don't have anything like that, but I'm looking at the timeline here, and this is what I believe must have happened. Because from what I can see is that in 2017, ETN was in fact arrested for DV. I believe that she got him, globbed onto him, faked the stroke, did everything, and she would threaten him with guns, do everything, and he couldn't get rid of her. And he probably put his hands on her to back her off from what she was doing. She was probably doing something like that. Probably put his hands on her. She's littler. She called the cops. And this esteemed United States Army officer was arrested. It is my belief that she used that arrest to guilt, manipulate, and gaslight him, because Elizabeth also says, whatever you hear about me could be true, or it could be as fake as the narcissist who told it to you. And as an esteemed Army officer, can't you imagine that he cared about his reputation? And if she was going around saying that, he's a domestic abuser, she's a little woman, she got into his life, he's not been married before, and this must be why, she probably made it all this stuff about it. But you know what? She was saying horrible things about his family to him and about his brother. You know what she said about his brother, and I'm not going to say that right now, but it's disgusting. This man didn't feel that he could leave her because he was so afraid of the character assassination that she was going to do. Look what she's doing to that Trey guy, saying that Trey is obsessed with her and all this stuff. She kept bringing up Trey because, why? Saying that Trey can say that she had a stroke. Why? Because she pretended to have a stroke when she said that her best friend had a stroke. So she had to pretend that she was having a stroke so no one called her because she was upset because her friend had a stroke. And that's a reason why she can... No, she gets whatever she wants by saying she's having a stroke, feeling like she's having a stroke, had a stroke. Somebody that she knew had a stroke. She's learned to use the stroke as a weapon. So stroke this, you fucking bitch, and shut up. Anyway. I bet you that when they first got together, she had him charged. She probably used his command, probably called the command, said he's an abuser. They probably gave her all of the stuff, about what she could do for him being an abuser. She probably started calling his command, calling everybody. So ETN probably feels like everybody's looking at him like he's beaten a woman, that he's a woman beater, and he's afraid, and he doesn't know, and he's dealing with her. Look at all of us on the World Wide Web that cannot figure out all of the lies and deceptions that this bitch weaves in a day. Imagine being him, trying to still work and having her ruin his reputation that he worked a lifetime for, fighting for our freedom. But she got him arrested once, and she was going to do it again. And he probably went to jail. Can you imagine what it would be like for a highly esteemed United States Army officer to go to jail and be booked as a woman beater? Probably wasn't so great for him. Probably why he hangs his head right there, because he can't do anything if he raises his hand in any way. So that's why he backs away, says, give me room, let me back away, let me go away. She shot at him and he freaking ran and barricaded himself. And still she's seen as this victim, and all these people and all of this nonsense is giving her money. This nonsense doxing for her and all of this stuff. How much nonsense can be done? Why would anybody believe all of this nonsense that goes on? Kind of hard to believe, isn't it? Kind of hard to believe why anybody in nonsense would defend this, dox for this. But, that's how nonsense works. She chooses winners, real winners. So this was in 2017 that she had him arrested. So then in 2020, 3 years after that, I think this is when she already had him put her on title of the house, so it was no longer his house. But there's community property, so even if her name wasn't on it, probably be just as screwed. But she had him arrested shortly after they got involved. It looks like, looking through my notes, and then I see that in 2020 is when she shot the 38, headbutted the lieutenants, and scratched, spit, and pissed on the EMTs trying to help her. So 3 years after she had him arrested, she tried to shoot him. And he's such a victim by this time that he knows he can't stand up to her. And he probably had a big part in why she wasn't taken away and charged, because he's a victim. He's got Stockholm syndrome and he's got PTSD from this bitch. And he said, and I quote, "She's having a bad day. She just didn't take her medication." That's what was in those reports. You know how it is. You know how it is when you don't want your man to get in more trouble, your man to get arrested again, your dad to get arrested again. You say, "Oh yeah, it'll be fine. I just had a bad day." How many bad days did ETN have to deal with? How many bad days does he have to continue to deal with? So then it looks like he got out of the military in 22, probably after she had done all the damage she could do to his career and his reputation. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is, okay, so his arrest was simple battery. And that was in Georgia, March 18th, 2017. I wonder, hey, shout out here. Have you guys gotten that FOIA? That was in 2017. You guys, and I could be totally wrong here, but I'm just looking at the notes and the timeline and looking at how this could have ever happened. How this smart man could have ever gotten caught up with this bitch. So anyway, she admits to having bipolar, PTSD, bipolar 2, substance abuse disorder, and is a chronic alcoholic, and then has the issues going on with her organs. So you all tell me this. How does she pass a 5150 when she is being observed? Does she just pay for one of the sugar daddies to bail her out when she starts getting things? I don't understand. I don't understand. You guys are going to have to tell me that. So then, is that all that I have here? Is this all that I have? It might be. It might be all that I have to talk about and all of my things that I wanted to impart. So please remember that men can be victims too. That domestic violence is an equal opportunity. You can be rich or poor. You can be black or white or somewhere in between. You can be man or woman. You can look like this and be a victim of domestic violence. You can be an esteemed United States Army, I think he was an officer, right? And be a victim of domestic violence. If this man chose to, he could harm her. But because she'd already had him arrested, because we look at this and this is, oh, look at this. I'm putting all these things together. May 17th, 2020. She had him arrested 3 years prior. Right. Left, bitch. Anyway, so she was doing this. Well, let me see what I have on this date for where I just noticed this. You guys are probably all like yelling it to me. I hear ya. Okay. So if we look at this, I don't have the date of 2020 when she shot him. I just have 2020. So at some point, so this is 2020 when she wrote this, and she was talking about this last night on Who's Ever Panel. Just put this up on I See What You Can't, the best channel ever. So in the 2020, the abuse was getting really, really bad, and that's where she shot at him. And I believe that, didn't he write her a note that basically said, he's leaving, because like he couldn't even say it to her personally. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do one more thing here. I am going to read off this bitch's freaking escort channel. Let me see here. Where do I have it in my fucking channel here? Let me see. Oh, I want to do a project too. Okay, you know how like people did songs about Molly and shit and they were fucking hilarious? Well, I think that we need to do a freaking hilarious theme song for this bitch. So somebody who knows somebody who can figure this out, I would love it. And I can't sing, I'm not a singer, you all know that. But I would sing the words just to do this for humankind if we can't find somebody else how to do it. So there's this song by Enough's Enough, that 80s band from Illinois. And it's called Fly High Michelle. It's about these guys that were sitting around partying and stuff, and they thought, everything was all cool and they would always be together and they would party. And their friend Michelle didn't wake up. And so they made this song up called Fly High Michelle, and it's actually a really cool song. But I think that we could redo the words and do, "You're high, Michelle. Never looked into your blue eyes. You're high, Michelle." I need somebody to help me do the words. And then I don't even know if blue eyes are right, because in one of her arrest records, it says that she's got diachromatic eyes. And I think that's where one eye is different, or were they just talking about one eye being brown downtown? Anyway, let's see here. Okay, this is what pisses me off. Okay, if you are a hoe, you do not break hoe code. You don't go after other people's husbands, okay? If you're a hoe, be a good hoe with values and morals. I mean, hoeing has been around since the dawn of time. We know this, okay? Jesus' mom's friend. Good whore, okay? Mary Magdalene. She's a hooker with morals. If you are one and you're in a situation where you have to make money because, well, number one, you could just want it. Number one, I mean, that's a theory where people say that's why. Number two, people could like the attention, and if you're in the dating thing and all you're doing is getting dinner, why don't you just skip the damn dinner, get $300 and do the GFM or whatever. I'm not saying anything about that. I think that in my opinion, I think that it should be legalized, and as anything is legalized and it's taxed or whatever, then it's regulated. It is in my opinion that we have such technology today that there are motels and stuff that are going out of business. Well, use our technology to have legalized brothels, have them monitored so that no one is getting hurt, and then make a secondary income off of those security cams of making prawn. I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is some nasty ass damn whore goes after people's husbands, and this is what is happening here. Because I was sent her Taylor Love, okay? Taylor Love, and she's got this thing, and I mean, she's got the long body out, the long crotch to hip to lip ratio. And I mean, the picture there is not attractive, I don't think, because it looks like a crime scene of when they found like a cold, dead Green River killer body. But anyway, I guess some people are into that. She says that she's mixed ethnicity. Mixed with what? Rats, bats, roaches. If she's mixed with roach, this could make a lot of sense. And this is when she says she's 37 to 45. And she was on Erotic Monkey. So I think when people are calling her a spider monkey, they're looking at Erotic Monkey. So anyway, claims not to be a tranny, and she does offer S&M. Says she's a 32C with naturals. I'm sorry, but there's nothing natural about those. I mean, Ski has referred to them as tuna cans and tube socks. Those are not natural, okay? Natural ones are, well, rocks and socks. I mean, fuck, I have to kick mine to the side to even take a step. Anyway, it says that she's natural. Nothing about her is natural. Oh, she's breast appearance natural. And then she says implants, yes. Hers look natural? No. Why don't you be honest here and put what Ski put? Put tuna cans and tube socks. And says that she's skinny, and it says she's not a prawn star. And then what does she say here? She says, I am the ultimate GFE. Well, bitch says she's 5'7" and she says she's 5 foot to 5'4", and then says she's 5'6" over here. And then she says that her measurements are a 34D to a 34D 2530, so she can't even keep it straight. Which is, like I say, what the two eyes, she must have been like, yeah, one of my eyes is brown. Ha ha ha. Anyway, I am the ultimate GFE. Okay, friends, that's not a dishwasher. That's GE. Okay, a GFE means girlfriend experience. I am the ultimate GFE. You will get lost in my seductive eyes, warm smile, slim, athletic body from a lot of gear abuse, my class, my charm, and intelligence. I am known to be slightly addicted to drugs and alcohol. I am known to be slightly addictive. Hello, gentlemen. I am the ultimate fantasy. The girlfriend every man dreams of. Right. Molly's head. Scarborough, I can take you places you never imagined. Scarborough, Trimble, ATN, Trey, and make our time together feel like everything around us has stopped. Read my ER report. I absolutely love what I do. There's never any cock watching or hurrying. Conversation will feel like you've known me your whole life. I'll sit there, smoke, and you watch me, and you put the money in the fridge and run for your frickin' life because I'm the Heidi Fleisis of NOLA. All the joys of fun and intimacy of a girlfriend without the drama or the strings. I will stalk you to the ends of the earth and get money from you every time I'm arrested. I know what you're looking for. While your life might be perfect on the outside, you're missing that one little case of the clap. It could be lack of relations due to children. Them little fuckers need to be wilderness camp like I was. I mean, I went to boarding school because I take such good care of my kids. I'm a Sunday school teacher. Or due to the monotony of life. Do you yearn to have someone interested in your day again? I'll call you like a collection agency on crack, because I am. Instead of reminding you that the children are 15 minutes late for practice, I'll get your children taken away permanently, like mine. Right. Scarborough, Trimble, Drake, ATN, love him like the air. Passing wind. Nope. No one can prove that I farted or pissed on it. What? I spit because I'm a llama and I go to Dollar Tree. And while you're at it, don't forget to put dinner down on your calendar with my boring girlfriend and her husband that you hate. Am I touching on something? I'll tickle your pickle. I understand. Life happens. I'm an addict. I can make all that go away from you. This is what sets me apart. I'll take all your money. I'll take your soul. I'm very open-minded, careless. I spit at cops. Small. They call me a spinner. Fun, interesting, and very high energy after the blow. I might also be just a little bit addicted to every substance known to mankind and gear. I'm also very discreet because if you don't give me the money, I will call your wife, girlfriend, employer, military affiliation. I will do everything. I'm classy, sassy, assy, and intelligent. I always have discreet, private, secure in calls because nobody that has ever left me will ever come back to me. So it's secure in call with easy parking in my driveway with the gate. And I am easy access. I'm a true Southern lady, but blessed with the brashness of a sea hag at times. If necessary, I'll tie you up. Let's see. Where else? I like strings, and I'm a rope expert. I'll tie you up. I'm an insurance agent. I work at Walmart. I'm a master with a box cutter. I have pew-pews, pregnant armadillos, Robin, Tremble, Connell, Joe's Tea Shop, first husband, I've been to school. I take classes. I go on roofs. All the joys and intimacy of a girlfriend without the drama or the strings. I use Roman candles instead of tympans. I know what you're looking for. While your life might be perfect on the outside, mine isn't perfect at all. Life happens. I can make all of anything in your life disappear for you. I'm addicted. I'm the woman of your nightmares. I am Taylor Love, Michelle Lola Montez Sabati, Connor Como Sabati, Trimble Williams Scarborough, boarding school. I am also into female doubles, quadruples, quints, and couple friendly. Give me a couple of blows. I'll make a wonderful travel companion. Oh my God. Ask for rates catered to your trips and needs. I will say that I am doing insurance work and hopping on a roof with strings coming out of my ass. Overnights require at least 24 hours notice. Travel requires at least a week notice. I have to roll up my luggage and pack my Merrills. What are Merrills? They're shoes. They're shoes, you asshole. Anyway, let me see. Please find me on P411 108. I'm very, very selective. I'll take anybody and do everything. You will get chlamydia. I do not see everybody. I pre-screen all my friends before meeting for your safety as well as mine. Wear entire biohazard protections. I don't have all my toes. If you do not have current provider references, I am not willing to pre-screen you. Just come on over, bring the money and the sleeping pills. The Xanax, I'm sober. Please do not waste my time or yours. I make a lot of exceptions. I look forward to destroying your life. XXX Tay Tay. And on that note, we will hope to God she does not come at us with the bikini in 6 weeks. Hopefully the internet could have another outage. Something. And then she has these pictures, and she is really muscly looking in these pictures. Again, these pictures do look a lot, I'm from the Seattle area, so these pictures do look a lot like Green River Gary's crime scene photos, or these don't look like a living woman. See, this breaks whole code too, because in these pictures here, Jesus, she's cockeyed as, my God. Okay, in these pictures here, she is, okay, they took the pictures underneath like a highway overpass, like where a body would be dumped. She cannot dangle things like this because they're serial kill. You know what? I grew up in Washington State. When I was young, those of you from the Spokaloo area will remember, we had the South Hill rapists. So I was like in the 2nd grade and everything, and I was using my chapstick like it was mace. I would walk around and be like, oh yeah, South Hill rapist, you're not going to get me. And then it was Ted Bundy. They moved over to the Seattle area, and then there was Green River Gary and all of that. And the crime scene photos that would come up, warning everybody. They looked like this, and bodies would be under the, what is she doing? This is like dangling what a serial, but you know what? I bet you the bitch has scared off serial killers. I bet you that she starts talking at them and trying to take their money and grabbing their junk and everything else. And they're like, this isn't worth it. There'd be no thrill to kill. I've just got to freaking run from it and run. There's no thrill killing Michelle. My God, she's lived through it all. And then these boobs are like left and right. I don't know. They're not right. Then they're not like what Ski has described them out in this picture. But these pictures are from long, long ago where she had like a jawline and I don't know. Like the drugs have really, really not helped the situation. But yeah, she's showing full nips and whatnot on the ads, and that leaves nothing to the imagination. That's kind of like hoe code, where don't show it all, because then who wants to pay for what they can see for free? She's given a lot of whack-a-smack material for here. And yeah, there goes half my eyeballs. Like I said, I'm trying to keep the others for at least 8 weeks, but if she comes on and flashing, doing a live in a bikini, whoa. So on that note, I hope that, I made a thing about coffee, because I have been making my own home coffee. Oopsie, so good with the creamers that are out. They're so good right now, the creamers. And I actually ordered on online Kahlua creamer. Like I like the taste of Kahlua. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. Like I just like the taste of it. And I like it in coffee. So I found that Coffee Mate has a Kahlua out there, and it's really hard to find ever in stock. So you can order it on Amazon. And it doesn't come in a refrigerated thing, so it's not a lot to ship. So I don't think it actually has to be refrigerated. I don't know. But I ate it, and it's not giving me food poisoning, so apparently it didn't need to be refrigerated. But then, oh my God. So I was sitting there showing you guys how to make coffee in this last video. How to make your coffee be amazing. And it tastes, okay, so you have to get like a frother. You can have a milk frother, like I have my milk frother for my Nespresso thing. But, those, like, they make a mess and everything. So you can get just these basic milk frothers off of Amazon. The one that I'm showing on there is just from Amazon. But I actually saw in that little bullseye area at Target where they have the things that are like $5. They have a milk frother right now for $5. It looks like very similar to mine. And I think it just takes like 2 batteries. Like I said, the batteries last forever. But you would just put, good creamer, and they have freaking pistachio creamer right now. I couldn't believe it when I saw it in the Target. So I bought like 4 of them because I freeze them. I know it says on there not to freeze, but so far I haven't died. So, watch my video about how to make the best coffee. So make yourself the best coffee and then listen to this. And this has obviously taken me hours to like empty out of my head. So this is like a very long video that will be taken apart, and I will get criticized for it and whatever and hated on it. But whatever, it is what it is. So I hope this brings some facts, and I hope that it inspires you all to listen to the facts and the truth, and remember to honor the victims of Michelle. And by honoring the victims, that means not giving her a platform, not giving her a dollar, and protecting the streets of any state, anywhere where Michelle can get behind the wheel. Michelle has enough damn money that she can hire an Uber to get to where she needs to be. If that's what everybody wants, is that everybody doesn't care that Michelle's using this and that, let the bitch hire an Uber, please. Keep the people safe. And if anybody knows the prosecutor and whatnot, and can put these dates in front of him or put out the contact information so that those of us who are concerned can reach out and say that, you know what, this is a over 20 some odd year thing, and in honor of her baby that did pass of SIDS, I hope that she will stop bringing him up so that he can, of course, rest in peace, which is our only desire, because that poor baby never had a chance when he was in utero or anything. And so don't play into the games where they're going to focus on what I said and take apart things, and focus instead on putting Michelle away and for her victims to get justice. And please send up prayers for those victims of Michelle, including ETN. And on that note, I will show you that ugly screen that you guys hate. Let's see here. Exit full screen. We'll go over here to where you guys hate, and we will stop recording. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate and love all of you. I'm sorry that I've been away dealing with some things, and I haven't forgotten about any of you. I love each and every one of you. And I love that you guys still remember me. Thank you for remembering me. And put your love in the comments and I'll get to them. Email me if you want. TabithaJane0@gmail.com. Bye-bye.